Station, my brother.
Station.
What's up, man?
Oh, man, excited to be here. Pop, pop, boo.
Oh, yeah, bro. As always, man. I can't believe we're winding down, bro. Halloween's getting too damn close, man. Too damn close.
Yeah, for real. Getting nearing the end of Horror Fest, but good thing here at DHS, Horror Fest never ends.
Definitely.
Unless you choose to do Legend or Dead Zone or some shit. But aside from that, like,
bro,
it never ends.
It has horror aspects, bro. Chill out. All right, as always, though, you know we're here to review It Chapter 1 and 2 from 2017 and 2019. What is it? Come check us out. Like, subscribe if you're new here. We got a couple of the homies backstage, though. Let's bring them in. We got Scarpad. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? I'm here tonight, like Ben in Chapter 2, to say it does get like this when you get older, man. Just like Ben, he was a stud. I'm back tonight. How you all doing?
Oh, yeah. Dope shirt, brother. Verno, man, what's up, brother?
What up? It's like my most anticipated part of these shows is how Scarpad's going to open up and just how intense he's going to be. That was a mid-level. You could have went more intense.
I like Scarpad.
Just like Ben, he turned into a 10. I'm always a 10 here on Dylan's Horror Show.
Hells yeah.
For sure. Alrighty. We also got Steph in the building. What's up, brother?
What's up, fellas?
Good to have you as always, man. And last but definitely not least, my homie Fable, man.
Station. What is going on, fellas, man?
Fable's got you covered, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. So, as you know, we're here for It Chapter 1 and 2. Any y'all first timers? Fable, was this your first time on the remake? I'm sure you've seen the OG one back in the day. We're not here to talk about that one.
Chapter 2 newbie.
Oh, yeah, it's your first time too, Scarpa. I forgot.
Chapter 2, yes.
I as well am a Chapter 2 newbie.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what, man? We'll have to get into that because, you know, we'll have to get into it when we get to that. But they do, even though we're not here to talk about the OG one, still Tim Curry's fucking badass. They do have that new documentary coming out. It's on Screenbox, but I got that Blu-ray coming because it has a nice slip.
Yo, this is random. Do you guys know, maybe, was Tim Curry ever up for the role of Joker? Like for Burton's shit?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think Jack Nicholson, the way Burton tells it, that was his first choice. But you're right, dude. I never even thought about that. But Tim Curry as the Joker, that'd been something.
Would have been, bro.
Crazy.
He's got the smile right down
For sure.
But he'd have to do it in the fishnets.
Yes. At least we got him as the butler in Home Alone 2.
Yeah,
true.
Home Alone, pure Joker right there.
But yeah, man, that documentary, I'm definitely excited for to check that out. But so we got 2 new people checking this out. I remember I saw these both in theater actually, because I grew up.
How the fuck did you stay awake, man?
Because I'm not fucking 60 years old.
I saw it in the theater by myself. It was like a 3 o'clock showing. I was the only person in the theater for the first one. And like midway through, I'm turning around and like making sure I'm still alone and shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
see Pennywise sitting behind you and shit.
The second one has good pacing. It does. I mean, dude, we've seen so many 3-hour movies. Like, come on now. Like, let's not act like 3 hours is like kind of somewhat normal nowadays.
It would just
the source.
Dude, I just went to go see Terrifier 2, 2.5 hours. That's like the longest slasher in history.
But you know what though? But you know,
like Grindhouse Independence, like slasher.
In defense of that, I didn't feel like Terrifier 2, and let's not talk about that, was just all one continuous 2.5 hour jump scene. Chapter 2, the jump scenes started to get really tiring, but we'll talk about that.
For sure. I saw both these in theater. I like the first one better than the second. I'd probably say off rip. Second one is harder to pull off. It's definitely harder to pull off. They did damn good with the adult characters, but I love the kids in this. You know, it's got obviously Stand By Me vibes. You know, Stranger Things this is what like Stranger Things jocked off of, like the little kid versions of this and Stand By Me and shit like that. I love all the kids in this. You know, the stranger kids.
They feel like natural kids. How kids interact with each other. You know, like
they're all
picking
good,
on
man.
each other.
Yeah, it was cast well with the kids.
For sure.
The kids are great, man. I love it.
And it casted pretty well
and
with the adults too.
Yeah, they all kind of resemble their kid counterpart. The only person who really didn't fit for me was probably James. Even though he was great, it was James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain. Like they were. Everyone else I felt was more.
I mean, that girl looked like Amy Adams, a dead Amy Adams. They should have had Amy Adams.
Ooh, that's actually
not a dead
I
Amy
see that.
Adams,
Yeah,
but a little Amy Adams.
The little girl had freckles, man. Amy Adams, I don't think has freckles.
She's somewhere between that and adulthood. She has freckles on.
They're both redheads.
She was heavily freckled.
They're both white redheads, so. But Jessica Chastain, I still think looks more like it. Amy Adams is probably a better actress, no doubt.
I can see it in the face for Amy Adams, but like the rest of the features go to Chastain.
Oh man, they seem so spot on to me. I don't know.
I agree.
That's your opinion, obviously. That's what y'all think.
Yeah, me and Fable are right there with you, man. I think that it was perfect casting. Dylan, how are we doing this? We breaking it up? We're going to talk about the first movie.
I don't know. Well, we're going to talk about the first one, but I mean, homies just keep jumping in. So
my bad. Now you guys know how I feel when I'm trying to talk
about it. But dude. Robbie's got to remember this is a horror
true
show.
Shot.
It's not as structured always as the Pop Culture Philosopher show.
I just asked a question real quick before we really get into this, because obviously we've already kind of
we're gonna do it. I was just saying that I went to see both of them in theaters. That's all.
I've never read the book. Has anybody here read the book?
Oh yeah,
no.
It's my favorite book. I read it like 3 times.
Does anybody else like me feel like just the second half of the story is not as good as the first half? Like,
yes,
absolutely.
It's all about how it's structured, man. It's Robbie. We've talked about it a bunch of times. How in a book you could have multiple main characters, and that's what they do as kids and what they do as adults is damn near the same thing with little tweaks here and there.
Well,
and in this, it feels more repetitive, and in the book, it flows better.
Well,
so if you look at the 1990 series, that second half sucks.
Exactly.
Drag.
I mean, too many flashbacks that we've already seen.
They go
in
back
chapter
and
1,
forth.
really. No, we saw him in chapter 1. They just showed him again in chapter 2. So too many flashbacks, I think, and too many jump scares.
I think they were trying to bring because the kids were so charming, they were just trying to include them in the second movie as much as they could, and that was the only way it worked out.
I'm sorry, Dylan. I didn't mean to start that again. I was just my bad. All right, Dylan. Sorry.
Nah, y'all good, bro. Just do it, dude. I don't care about that. But one of y'all should probably just talk because y'all made me lose my train of thought to be honest.
I thought you were killing it too.
So you saw it in theaters, Dylan.
Yeah, you saw both. You saw them both in theaters, and I guess we're going to talk about just chapter 1 first, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you're gonna talk about both of them here and there. I mean, it's not like you can't mention.
I think you can talk about one without two. Almost.
Right.
I can't.
But the only thing I was gonna say is in the book, like the freaking miniseries, it's not broken up where the first one is all about the kids.
Right.
The miniseries and in the book, it goes back and forth, and they get a little bit of the flashbacks in chapter 2 where you see them as kids, but
so the book goes back and forth is what you're saying?
Yeah,
the whole time.
The book does the book follows closer to what they did in 1990.
Yeah,
I still remember that one being mostly about the kids in the first half.
It's because of the way it's structured.
They do flashbacks, but they go back and forth.
The first half of the first half of the original one was all kids. The first half.
Yeah. Well, no,
it's not the entire thing because they start off with the adults and
then they go to the flashback.
There's Bill Denbrough doing like the narration and shit, and he's writing. Then they're showing like a couple of them. They go back and forth. It's been a while. I don't know how much,
a little bit more,
but they definitely do go back and forth. I remember they always, because that's how they did it in the book. They go back and forth, and that was a big thing. That in this first chapter, it's all kids. There's nothing with the adults. So then that was a huge thing. We were like, well, in the old ones, you already knew who the adults were. We were like, who are they going to cast for the adults?
Is the book 2 chapters?
No. It's a big movie, dude. I got the book over here, man. It's huge.
They only did that because it's a huge book and a huge movie. It was what? Was it a 6 or an 8 hour miniseries? I think like an 8, wasn't it? 6 or 8?
I think it's around 5 or 6. Yeah. It was. Well, since we're on that topic, that was the biggest thing that even at
holy moly.
Even as a kid, what I loved was the structure of it. And that's what we missed between these two. That's what I think it loses something is because you had the adult characters introducing the kids all the time. So it was really easy to link those two in your mind together. Like that actor would be talking and then you'd see the kid and it continued that. Right. So the stories flowed together better than they do in this.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like chapter 2 is a little bit more off-putting at first, but I'm not going to lie. I'll just say it that I liked chapter 2 this time more than I ever have, but that's really because like the ending always kind of jarred me. I didn't like that, but I fucked with it this time, but we'll get into that more. Chapter 1 though, all the kids, cast perfect. Andy Muschietti coming off doing Mama with Jessica Chastain. So that's another reason why she was getting the role always, man, because they already had a connection that she did his first like major motion picture, and they looked damn alike, man. What is it? So you got the same guy directing both of these, so at least they feel structurally and cinematography like the same. They feels the same. They don't feel like two different worlds. Let me see the music, fantastic, absolutely incredible. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. You got huge shoes to fill. Stepping into this with Tim Curry. We all can say nowadays how goofy the miniseries is, but Tim Curry is incredible. You know what I mean? And he's in just regular clown makeup. They go more into CGI effects with some of his clown effects on this one.
He was scarier to me in that miniseries because I grew up watching the Bozo the Clown Show. Mm-hmm. And to me, he looked like fucking Bozo, and I was like, "This is creepy."
For real,
man, he is so creepy, bro. so creepy. This guy, man, like it was so hard, like going into this, but dude, and then the look and everything going, like when I first saw the look of Pennywise, I was like, oh man, he looks like so weird at first, but Bill Skarsgård, just like once you see him in the movie, because I remember at first you just see like we just saw a still or two. He looked creepy and everything, but it was different to see the way that they had him. Yeah. But dude, he's incredible. The voice, the makeup. I forget exactly who might do the makeup. There is definitely a great amount of practical effects in this too. But there is some CGI effects too, no doubt. I think, dude, it's freaking fantastic. One of my favorites when this came, like one of my favorites of like the last decade, no doubt. They did this one right, man. I don't really, there's really nothing I could complain about on this one, except maybe, we didn't get the full on book ending, at the end of the group. We ain't get the little orgy. So
yeah, thank God.
They had an orgy at the end of the book?
I was waiting,
What?
I mean, they all did each other?
I don't want
dude.
When they were kids.
That's an orgy.
It's fucked up.
Hold on, when they were kids or when they were older?
But that's another thing. The mini series takes place in like what 50s or 60s. This takes place.
Did they replace that with a blood pack?
Which I really think they jumped to the 80s because that obviously we love the 80s up in the horror show.
Hold on, let me get this straight. So you're saying that
still stuck.
Okay,
you're saying that the promise was based around them getting down.
Okay. In the book, once they fight Pennywise as kids, they try to make their way out and they get lost. They're like, oh, we can't find our way out. What should we do? How about we all have sex with Beverly? And they're like, oh, okay. So they all run a train on Beverly, and then like, oh, okay, I know how to get out now.
That's kind of rapey, man.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, man. And Stephen King was all up in that shit.
Yeah, I don't think although I thought it would have been brave of them to do that. I would have been okay with it. Would have been okay with it.
Jesus Christ.
That would have been brave and a chance to have taken.
It's coming from the same guy that wants to see Hermione's titties. Just fucking say.
No, I never said that.
I know you didn't.
No, I didn't.
But hey, we knew you were thinking it.
Too many fucking jump scares. I'd rather have anything than that.
Let's move this train on. Speaking of train,
that's unbelievable. That's amazing,
man. Don't you remember all those outrage articles a few years ago that came out? They're like, Stephen King, there's one change that Stephen King approves of and then that is his answer. He's like, I did a lot of cocaine back in those days.
Right.
But
it was the 80s, A PG was like an R.
I'm sure it reads better in the book than it sounds. Probably not, but
there's also like a floating magical sea turtle as well, dimensional sea turtle.
Well, that's tied into the Dark Tower, right?
Exactly. That's gone.
Exactly.
From the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I think I only read the first book of the Dark Tower.
And at the end of the Dark Tower, you wind up meeting possibly another person or another entity that's of Pennywise's race.
Yes.
No way.
Did Stephen King grow up next to a reservation? I'm starting to wonder.
Not in Maine? I don't know.
Well, the way he says he's the eaters of worlds at the end, that's I'm assuming in the book too, right? So does that tie into some other Stephen King thing?
Well, in chapter 2, Mike keeps calling him like an echo, which that's also something that Lock and Key, Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, that's a big thing in the Lock and Key series is the echo.
Yeah, it is.
Which I don't understand what that technically means. I always think of Pennywise as like shit. In the mini series, I just thought of him as some fucking like alien clown.
I think he is.
And then in the
he is, but
new one, he's like a shapeshifter.
I think it represents.
He just always chooses the clown as his main form.
But because of the kids, right? That's why he's after kids because they're more easy to scare, basically. Yeah. And I think that the idea of him being an echo, that's something tied into the theme of the idea that the fears and traumas of your childhood echo all the way through your life.
And I think it's also that every 27 years, he's an echo of himself.
Yeah.
Keeps coming back kind of a deal.
Yeah. So I wonder, did they actually truly kill him? But they're supposed to be doing, I don't remember if it's a mini series or a movie.
They should do a chapter 3
where
they all break out of fucking like an old folks home in wheelchairs
and then you can add in the
right.
Kick penny ass in wheelchairs. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. So you like chapter 1, Dylan? Is what you're
Oh
saying?
yeah, dude, I love chapter 1, dude. Dude, it's so fucking good, bro. I love the kids. They are perfectly cast, and they've done. I mean, I'd say most of them, if not all of them, have gone on and are continuing to do stuff. And I bet you they will continue. Little Bill just did freaking Stephen King, Mr. Harrigan's Phone or something on Netflix.
Mhm.
That was a Stephen King adaptation with Donald Sutherland, and that was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, man, I have a damn blast with this one. Robbie, dude, what did you think about this, bro?
All right, so my girl at the time when this came out was a huge Stephen King fan. She loved It in particular, It in The Stand, and everybody's like, that's usually everybody says those are his two best ones, and I'm like, why are they the longest? But anyway, so we went and saw it in theaters, and I was underwhelmed. Right? She really liked it. Everybody else really liked it, but I was underwhelmed because I have a strong affection for the Tim Curry one. Right? Because that's iconic to me. Like 1990, I'm 9-10 years old. And I'm like, that was so momentous. That was such a moment. I remember that. And I remember my biological father getting me that book because I wanted it so much. But after seeing that movie, I didn't read the book because the cover of the book with that reptilian hand coming out of the sewer scared the shit out of me, man.
I love that cover.
Right? So I never read it, but I always had a fascination with that movie, with that story. And I was underwhelmed because I thought they maybe used a little bit too much CG. I thought they were trying too hard. When I rewatched it, nah. I was just being snobby Robbie, I guess. I don't fucking know. This movie it's awesome. I'm not allowed to say slaps anymore, but this movie really knocks it out of the park. I really think that it's incredibly strong. I understand that they, now that the book and even the original miniseries is a little bit more intercut, but I think that was the right way to go. In fact, this could just be it, and it would be one of the best horror movies of the modern age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Bill Skarsgård is amazing. You go up against this iconic Tim Curry performance, and you don't do Tim Curry's Pennywise. You do your own version of it and have your own distinct identity attached to it, but it's incredibly creepy. That's good. All of the kids are amazing. Richie being my favorite in both movies. And I hate that damn Wolf Fingard kid. Like, I don't know why. Like, if I saw him in the street, I'd probably throat chop him. I don't know. Probably not. I don't want to, that's a joke. But man, it really worked for me, man. I liked the music. I thought the scares were genuine. The pacing was really good. It's really surprising to me that Annie Machete did a movie and then got this. Like, holy shit, man. Like, it's like a Zack Snyder scenario where, like, you do one movie and all of a sudden you're like, here, you want to do Superman and 300 and all this other shit?
Dude, he did Mama, then got handed this shit.
But that's what I'm saying.
Guillermo del Toro backing him, though.
I get it, yes, right? But it works, man. I think that the tone, the atmosphere, the way that they are driving this film with the subtext about fear and all this kind of shit, they balance it so goddamn well. It's over 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels easy, breezy, beautiful. Cover Pennywise. I fucking loved it.
Even the Georgie kid, man, he plays in Lock and Key, man. He's great, bro. So damn good.
Yeah, I was really harsh when I first saw this film, and I was like, they relied too much on CG. And on the rewatch, I was like, actually, I was paying attention to how well they actually used a touch of CG to elevate the practical.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was really pleased with that. And so there were some moments where you're like, that's CG. And like CG and horror just kind of throws me out. CG, blood, all that kind of shit. It just, it just pulls me out. Maybe I'm too old school. I don't know. We'll talk about, I'll tell you this.
Right.
They are like almost all practical in this movie. I love it. I think that everything about it is top notch. I thought it was really good. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it on the rewatch.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Scarpad, man, what'd you think, bro?
Well, I did see this one before, so I'm a little bit more versed on it than the other one. But no, I liked it a lot. I liked it when I first saw it. I mean, I thought it was a good balance of dramatic story and horror. I thought this movie got the best of the two. And as I said, I think the CGI in this one and the jump scares were a lot more used well and to a lesser extent than in the second movie, which I found very CGI heavy and very jump scare heavy. And I mean, I get wearing every time you get the boom, yeah, and that came a lot in the second one. So yeah, I like the first one. The cast was fantastic. The music was great. The direction was great. It definitely had all the Stephen King stamps with the kids and the bullies and all that. I thought the bullies, the main bully was used a lot better in the first movie than he was in the second movie, where he became kind of like a caricature almost.
I just want to say real quick that Stephen King bullies turned that shit up to 11.
Yeah,
like,
this guy was nuts.
Right. They're never just like
ask you, yeah.
They never have a slow roll up, you know.
Right. He was
fucking stomach up, you fuck.
Like, even the other guys are going, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's typical Stephen King. I mean, every one of his stories has the same scenario in it. But I thought, it's a top tier Stephen King adaptation. I think this is probably in the top 5 at least. So the first movie I enjoyed quite a bit.
Good, man. Brian, what did you think, brother?
I love it, but it's like a weird one because like I was obsessed with this my whole life. Like this is my favorite book.
Yeah.
I've read it a few times over the years. If I think like the 1990 miniseries was like not just my favorite horror movie, like that was my favorite movie as a kid. Pennywise scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
When I'm coming up from the basement, I still think about that motherfucker if you might be behind me. So like it was even just like what you said, Dylan. Like the first time I saw Bill Skarsgård, I was like, And even the first time I watched the movie, he's like, yeah, George, he's doing all of his thing. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like it was hard to get the old Tim Curry clown out of my head. So I do love him though. I think he's fantastic in this. I think he's a lot better in chapter 1 than he is chapter 2.
I agree.
I'm with you guys with the casting. The casting is super solid. I got some issues with what they did with some of the characters, and not that I don't like them, but like what they did specifically. Here's my biggest issue with the whole thing. I don't think the kid that plays Bill, for me, he's not strong enough to carry the movie. Like he doesn't feel like he's not a believable leader of this crew.
Right. Yeah.
Part of that is because they changed Eddie, who they never call Eddie Spaghetti. They changed his character, and he was really meek, and he was like the clear, like Bill was easy to believe that he would be looking out for Eddie in the book and in the old movie. So it was easy to picture Bill as the leader of between those two. And it started out the movie where you just see Eddie and Bill together, and then they add everybody to it. And I think the old Bill was way more believable. He had a better stutter, and I just liked him a lot better. But why it kind of fucks up everything is because the most dramatic part of the whole thing comes in chapter 2, spoiler, when Eddie dies. And when the meek Eddie dies, the nerdy Eddie dies, it's way more impactful when this brash, like, you know what I mean? Like this different Eddie dies. So that like they did it for comedic purposes, but I really think it affected the whole story a lot to me. But other than that, like the kids are great. The blood and the bathroom scene is one of the best scenes. I don't think that's from the movie, or I don't know. I don't know exactly how it goes down in the book anymore, but it's way better in this. It's like it's so extreme in this, but
the blood in the bathroom scene is in both movies too.
Okay, all right, but it's not like that. It doesn't like explode all over, right?
I think it does, because it gets all over the bathroom.
Right. Okay. But
overall, they just like show in the mini series. I don't think the kids come and clean it up.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
The rock war is the shit. Well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that bathroom scene, like if I was like, wait, nobody else can see it but us, well, I ain't cleaning this shit up.
Yeah, fuck that, leave it. The place was a pigsty before it, so who's gonna notice?
And it's funny, dude. Like I think it's super funny. Like I was surprised, Scarpe, to see that what's his name? Richie was bugging you, because I think he's so damn funny. He's got so many funny lines in the movie.
No, I didn't say the character was bugging me. It's the actor playing the character was bugging me. I can't take him.
There's like a million things I want to say, and it's like, all right, I better just wrap this shit up. So,
nah, bro, say whatever you gotta say.
No, I'm losing track of it all. But no, I think that is a big thing that takes away from it is the structure. Like even as a kid, that was what made it so intriguing and made it flow so nicely. I would love to have seen this done on HBO Max, like as another mini series. It would have been.
They're supposed to do that, like Welcome to Derry prequel, I believe. It's got an option jar. It's supposed to be coming.
Scariest bit
in the 1800s. That's what I was.
Scariest bit was when they're doing the projector bit, like when he pops out of the projector.
There's some great.
That's the shit.
Awesome.
It scared the shit out of me on this rewatch, bro. I'm sitting there just like watching. Oh shit!
I was like, holy shit! Yeah.
Cinematography is fire as fuck too. Like there's never a dull scene. The camera's always doing something interesting. The music, as you said, is great. There's like this classical kind of sound, and then there's like new wave shit. There's really like bassy, boom, boom, mixed in with like this kind of like Batman sounding themes. You know, like big movie themes. Yeah. So it's I think it's great, man. But I still struggle with it. Like I've watched it 5 or 6 times and I go back and forth. Like it's, one of these things. The first one was just so precious that I struggle with fully buying into this new version of it.
I guess in the mini series, the blood just got on this all over the sink. My brother said.
I gotta rewatch. I haven't seen that since the 80s.
Yeah, I want to have to watch that one too.
The other thing worth saying, a lot of people probably know this, but like just seeing an interview with Bill Skarsgård where he's always been able to do that with his eye, and like all the drool that you see, he's like, I'm just a really drooly guy. He's like, I've got a lot of liquid in my mouth at all times, and he just like put those things together to make this disturbing ass character. He's like, I just tied all this shit, so I just love that.
It's so good, man. So damn good. Movie made a lot of money too, man.
The second one made a lot of money.
Steph, my man, what'd you think, bro?
Oh, all right. I thought it was fantastic. What Robbie said earlier, it could have, like, I feel like this could have stood on its own almost as a separate without chapter 2 and been just fine.
No doubt.
The kids, I think that was a big appeal for me. I said this earlier. They feel like just real kids talking to each other, like a real group of friends, ragging on each other, but they still have each other's back and shit like that. Bill Skarsgård, like it was said earlier, he made this his own. Like it's hard to imagine that there's a lot of pressure trying to outdo Tim Curry, and he kind of did it very seamlessly. It was just like he did it that way. I'm going to do it this way, kind of like Heath Ledger, Joker to Jack Nicholson. Yeah, I think it was perfectly paced. This, like I said earlier, doesn't seem like it's 2 hours or a little over 2 hours, as opposed to the second chapter where it's a little noticeable. Yeah, great film. Well made in all aspects.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Fable, my man. I am so looking forward to what you're about to say, man. First time watch. What'd you think, bro?
I'm like Robbie. I caught it around 8 or 9 years old when it came out on TV. And I thought that first chapter and Tim Curry as Pennywise was one of the scariest things I've ever seen as a child. His portrayal of Pennywise is iconic. And, watching this one, I was very trepidatious, but my fears were quickly put to rest when Georgie went to the drainage pipe. And that was more graphic and crazier than whatever they showed back in the days. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, oh, they went there. They took this kid's arm off. Okay, I know what I'm watching now. So I love this movie. I think it was fantastic. I think it has some of the most beautifully gory, horrific beauty. If that's even a thing. I know it's contradictory, but like Pennywise's look is so freaking scary. I mean, his eyes glowed in a certain way that is just like, I know if I was 8 years old and I saw this, I would be terrified.
Piss in your pants.
Shit,
yeah,
too.
Only because,
He's pissing his pants. He's pissing his pants.
Dude, that moment where he's about to bite that one kid.
Because I'm an adult and I know it's all bullshit that it doesn't get me like that. But
young Star-Lord.
Yeah. When he comes out the fucking refrigerator and twists his body, like those
that was cool as fuck.
It was it was sick. When he's going up the staircase and trying to eat the kid's foot, and then his eye like turns and like his face drags down the stairs. It was beautifully horrific. Like I can't even describe it. I'm having a hard time trying to get the words for it. But yeah, if I had a nitpick, it would only be two things. One, it was playing off of 80s tropes a lot. Like it was like overly 80s, if that makes any sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're in the 80s. Like, then they did a lot of things to kind of do that.
They're intentionally going after those of us who watched it, like at that time, like it's set in 89 and stuff. And the book is obviously like the modern day is 86 or something, and then it's the old school is like in the 60s or something. So I kind of like how they updated that a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I like it, but it's like they went over to like let you know. But either way, and the second thing I didn't like is that I like that they made Derry sort of a character, right? Like Derry is a weird fucking place, right? Like
they didn't really give too much into that though. Like
but this is what I'm
people with the red balloons and shit.
Right. This is why one of the parts I didn't like, because all of the parents were fucked up. All of them were assholes. Yeah, like all of the parents, everybody in that town was kind of an asshole. The girl, the bubblegum girl, the pharmacist was a borderline pedophile. Like this whole town was fucked up, and I wish that they explored that more. Like, you know what I mean?
I think so. That's the only they definitely do it more in the first one than the second one, right? And I haven't read all these Stephen King books. I'm going through my Stephen King journey right now. I've made it through all the Dark Towers. Now I'm going through his books one by one as they were published. But I follow this dude on YouTube, Mike's Book Reviews. He's a big Stephen King fan, and I've watched a lot of his shows, and he's talked about how the idea of Derry is this town that's been poisoned for decades and decades by this place, right? And a series would allow you time to elaborate that, right? So I think that's one of the things they did to not make this first chapter a 3-hour movie.
I think they did to keep the runtime down. There was a lot of little, like you're saying, with the woman or the person driving by in the car with the red balloon while Ben's getting cut up. The lady that looks down and sees Georgie playing with the drain and doesn't say like, "Hey, what the fuck you doing? Get out of there."
The people.
There's a lot of little subtle things without getting way into it.
Yeah. So I wanted
to like, were they in on it though? Like, was it? That's what I'm saying. Like, there obviously was some backstory there that was unexplored.
It's just like Pennywise has like seeped into the town, and like kind of the
most unbelievable thing.
So he only goes after the parents.
No,
or like
he affects everybody.
The parents know, like, you know how they are in the second part where they're like, well, we should just leave this be and let them deal with it. Like this idea of like turning a blind eye to something. But the most unbelievable part of the whole thing is that some kid in 1989 is that into the first Street Fighter. No one was into the first Street Fighter. It was Street Fighter 2.
That's why I said it was overly 80s. It sounded like somebody was watching 80s movies and said, okay, we're going to take all the tropes of these 80s movies and put them in.
I remember playing Street Fighter.
That's a little nitpick.
The first Street Fighter, me and my friends were like, let's go play that X-Men arcade where you can get like 5 people around it or something.
Mortal Kombat, baby.
I like the New Kids on the Block bit though. That was good. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was a big NSYNC fan in my teenage, younger years, and I never shied away from it. But it's not like I was like, I love NSYNC, to people like when I was a big NSYNC fan.
I dig it. I understand exactly what you're saying, man. My favorite thing about NSYNC is that they legitimately thought they were R&B and not a boy band. But anyway,
they can harmonize like it.
You back. Anyway, go ahead, Dylan. What's next? Ratings?
Let me think. Cause
really,
we could tie what the movie's trying to say. Both of them probably at the end of chapter 2, right?
Yes.
Then the music is probably, I think, about the same too as in both movies.
For sure.
Yeah, let's get into the right. Before, I'd like to say though, I love some of the other scenes with his eyes, like when Mike's getting tweaked out and he's like in that meat room and he opens the door and he's like hanging. You just see the yellow eyes. The music just does that that just loud, you know,
Dude,
like
that drainage pipe scene in the bathroom, like you said, with the hair coming out and tying all over her body. That looked good. Like the hair looked good. It didn't look. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a combination of CG and practical, but it looked so. You could see that it was sort of practical too, especially when it was like retracting.
The also the scene with Ben getting chased in the library, that's great.
That was dope.
When what is it, Eddie, he gets chased through the yard, which I love the aspect that they added with the house. That is awesome. I love what they do with this. The music, everything is great. Cinematography.
The whole well house thing's added in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's not in the first one, or in the miniseries.
I haven't seen that miniseries in so long. It's been years. Probably like 8 years.
The first half still holds up, I think, excellently.
When did this movie come out? 2017? That's when I last watched this. It was right before, because I bought this like cool Walmart, whatever. I like the well house bit. That's a good bit. It's like that's where the so like the house where the burbs are. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna go in there. They're gonna give you a pretzel with a sardine on it.
Yeah, though. We'll get into the rating. Dude, I gotta give this a 5, dude. 5 all day for what they did coming out. You know, not trying to mimic what Tim Curry did, but you know, creating his own lane and doing a damn good job at it. And Andy Muschietti, you know, taking the bits that kind of aged badly or that they weren't able to do because it was a TV miniseries.
Right.
I think he was able to pull it off, make it better, add to it, and do his own thing, and make it just really creepy, man. There's just some really good things in this, man. Because this is also very mainstream too. So for how mainstream it is, I like that they actually went really dark with a lot of stuff in this. You know what I mean? They didn't cheap out like, oh, we gotta, you know, try and make it like a little lighter because we want to, you know, we know people are gonna probably bring their kids because everybody loves Pennywise, you know. Like they went for it, man, and I love that they didn't cheap out, dude. They fucking went for it, dude. And this, dude, I mean, Stephen King, I love him, man. I love all his adaptations. He's got some shaky ones, no doubt, but I always loved all his stuff, man.
That's a nice way of putting it. He's got some shaky ones.
He's got some very shaky stuff, but yeah, man, dude, I have a damn good time with this. This is like, I mean, just the mini series and then the chapter 1 and 2 are just like staples in my household, man. They always have been like, just like always, like they go all year round in my house, but they're big around Halloween time, definitely. We'll start with you, Fable. What do you want to rate this, my brother?
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 5 because it's actually scary. A lot of the movies we've been watching here, they've been action horror. They've been, good bits and stuff like that. But this one is genuinely terrifying, I think. And I know if I was a child and I saw this at 8 or 9, 10 years old, I'd probably have nightmares with this one. So
I don't know. That goat last week was pretty scary, Fable. I'm just
the opening, man, like with the kids singing, da, 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 like that.
Well, I mean, it's just nonstop.
So
Pennywise is terrorizing everybody from beginning to end. He's just going at it. He's doing the bits. There's other creatures that they show too. It's not just Pennywise. Other creatures pop up, different little monsters that are all equally sick looking and scary, zombie looking people.
Yeah. It's all Pennywise, though. It's all Pennywise.
Right, but they doing different kind of things with monsters
preying on their
like
fears.
That. Yeah, and so just on that alone, it's a 5, man, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
And even though he's got these different aspects, they stick to the clown bit like so well, right?
Yeah.
It's and we'll get to when they get
Even
away.
though he'll switch it up here and there and do like the toxic zombie, the freaking the headless zombie or whatever, and he does a bunch of stuff, and then like the weird shape,
weird face thing. Yeah,
what the fuck is that with him? That's a creepy ass painting. What is that?
Steph, my man, what did you think, brother?
I'll give this one a 5 as well. My gripes lie with the second one. It's mostly like the whole town thing, but it's like with the first one, it almost plays into like it's like a mystery. Like, is there something going on? The second one, this offhand, but second one is like it's trying to solidify more things in the second one, and they never expand upon it. So I have gripes with the second one, but first one, I think it stands well on its own. I love the kids, the chemistry between them. Like I said, they feel like a real group of friends, and that I think that's a strong aspect of the film. So, and yeah, it was just like you guys said, it was scary. Like this like the last movie I was scared of was Jeepers Creepers, but I was like 12, 13. I probably shouldn't have been scared of it, but
Dude, that's a scary ass movie, bro.
Yeah, the first one is.
I like that they have. I think those have relations too, because how Pennywise comes back every 27 years, and I think it's the same for him too. It's every 27.
Mm-hmm. I can see this being like if I was 12 or 13, I would be scared as shit from this shit. Yeah. You know, like I've never had a phobia of clowns, but because I never saw it until I was like 12 or 13. But this one might give me a little phobia of clowns.
Mm-hmm. As I think it does to a lot of people.
And it's what like I didn't really mention it earlier, but you guys said it. It's like the shots. It's very well shot for a horror film.
Oh yeah,
very beautiful.
Yeah. They spent money on this one.
Yeah,
definitely, no doubt.
Unfortunately, they spent more on the second.
And
it went to that cast.
That's funny.
Vern, my man, what do you think, brother?
I'll give it a 4.69 because I still like it bugs me. There's certain things, and it's probably because I love the book so much, but like I can't like I don't like that Bill. Am I the only one that doesn't think Bill is a strong leader of that crew, or could you?
I can see why I couldn't see him being like how is he the de facto leader?
Right. He made me feel like
the question
he was as lame as Cyclops, so I thought it worked.
Right. I don't know. I don't buy him. It bugs me that they took Mike's story. Like Mike is trash in this whole thing. Like they take his story and they give it to Ben for whatever reason. Mike is the new kid. He's the talented historian. Now Ben is to make the love triangle stronger, and they just completely dismiss Mike. Which again, these are things that if I'd only seen this movie, it would be like I wouldn't even think about that. It would be.
I'm not gonna lie. As someone who's never read the book, when I first saw the movie, I was like, oh, the black kid's the last one, and that's not the part of the group of friends and stuff like that, you know. But
like Winston in Ghostbusters,
right? Exactly. Yeah. And then the other then there's other things that just like there's a lot of little things that they throw in, and you would only understand it if you read the book, and they kind of take away from the movie. Like they never say, none of the friends, the whole idea is that Richie's supposed to be annoying, and when he's getting annoying, the friends say beep beep Richie, which means like shut the fuck up Richie. So the clown's like beep beep Richie. It's like why not? Yeah, why not just like Eddie when in chapter 2 when Eddie dies, he says beep beep Richie. Like it's like this big thing that they never set up. And they do the same thing in here. There's just silly things like that. There's quite a few of them actually that they don't explain. They just throw it in there, and it throws me off. But yeah, it's great. I'm nitpicking, so 4.69.
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg of the book, but they didn't like lead it up to like make it as impactful as it should be. I know. For sure. Because they barely said it. They say it like once in each film. I want to say, dude, maybe twice in the first,
kids,
and then once in the second.
The kids never say it in the first one. It's only Pennywise that says it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. But that's a nitpick for sure.
And that's a big thing in the book. Yeah, I know. Scarpad, what'd you think, brother? You're unmuted. Good thoughts.
Thank you very much.
That was my favorite bit yet, Scarpad. That was a great.
I'm gonna give it a 5.0 the first movie because I think it's a fantastic balance of the story, the acting with the kids, and the horror. I think everything in the first one is perfect. I mean, I really like that movie a lot. Definitely one of Stephen King's best adaptation. I think Pennywise is a great villain. Of course, for now, it's 2022, and he's been upset by Art the Clown, who makes Pennywise look like a twerp because But so he's second tier clown now. But even so, he's great. And there's a lot of even though there's a lot of scares in the first part that's not totally of the jump scare variety, which is why I like the first one better. So I'm gonna give it a 5-0 for this one. I think it earns it. I think it's a good adaptation. And the kids, the actors, everybody is fantastic. And I don't think they make a bad step in the first movie. I think the whole movie is pretty even.
Oh yeah, dude! 2 5s from 2 first timers on this. Nice, hell yeah.
Well, I saw the first one before, but
you saw the first one before, my bad. Yeah. But still, all y'all said pretty damn good. I know Vern had his tiny nitpick, but that's just because he's such a big believer in the book, which I completely understand. I completely understand your nitpicks. Robbie, my brother, what do you think?
I don't want to be this guy.
Let's hear it.
It's gonna sound bad now,
but
Robbie. It's gonna sound bad now, but I go 4.5.
That's fine.
Great score.
That's great.
Solid.
I really like this movie. I thought it was good.
You could have just said 4.69 and not be a dick.
No, I don't think it's earned the 0.69. I'm going to tell you why. And
there's no bush.
My nitpicks with this movie are the music is good throughout most of it, but it does then veer into generic copycat kind of shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
And the other thing is, even though I said I appreciated it, this viewing for how it blended CG and practical, it does rely too heavily on CG on things that could easily be done practically. Okay. That's the only thing that really tones it down. But I'll tell you this, just a couple weeks ago, I did my top 5 movies of 2017. That's a new list now. This is one of my favorite movies from that year. This movie's awesome. 4.5. Yeah. I would initially given it like a 3.5. So that's like 4.5. Maybe I'll warm up to a 4.69. Bill Skarsgård
is solid, bro.
Pennywise is amazing. I just know, but here tonight on this panel, I'm the fucking naysayer.
No.
4.5. Anyway, I loved it.
And after I backed you up on the Funhouse,
I think it's merits how far away it's
son of a bitch.
Right? Like,
I gave Funhouse a 4, so I like it better than Funhouse.
Wow.
I would hope so.
That's generous.
I'm generous when it comes to Funhouse, my friend.
Hell yeah. So we got 5 from me, 5 from Fable, 5 from Steph, 4.69 from Vern, a 5 from Scarpad. We got a 4.5 from Robbie. So I'm thinking like a 4.869.
It's pretty accurate, I bet.
I think it probably is, man. I think it's probably
best math we've ever done. Hey, do you think any monsters are good at mathematics? Only if we count Dracula, right?
There you go.
Hey-o.
So chapter 2 comes out 2 years later, and they had a bunch of things where the young cast was trying to, say, oh, I'd like this guy to play me and this guy to play me. And Bill Hader was actually one of the guys that got picked, and he ended up being one. The adults are pretty spot on. I feel like they spent too much money, though, on James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, and is there one more? Who else? Am I forgetting someone?
I think Bill Hader, maybe?
Who?
As far as spending some money, maybe Hader.
Yeah. He's a name. Those are
like super draws, though.
No,
right? Like none of them are super draws. It's
only McAvoy.
Brad Pitt.
McAvoy's not.
Well, obviously we're not saying he's a Brad Pitt,
really
but they're still worth good money. You know,
he's
considered a pretty big draw. Yeah, Professor X.
He's great.
I don't think he's as big of a draw as you think. Whatever.
He saved M. Night Shyamalan. He gave M. Night Shyamalan.
He's not an A-list.
He's
not an A-list
in one movie.
we thought M. Night Shyamalan.
He's no Leo DiCaprio.
It doesn't matter what M. Night Shyamalan did. It's what he did in Split. He was
right.
I love James McAvoy, dude. He's my Morpheus, man, on the Audible. Like I'm just
Last King of Scotland.
I love him.
There you go.
Just say, is he that big of a draw, man?
I'm not even saying I love him that much. I'm saying he's a big
for a horror movie.
He's a big name to be in this movie.
For a horror movie,
everybody knows him. By the way, Dylan, you were so fucking close.
Like,
the average is 4.865. So it's
wow.
you're like a wizard over there, bro.
Dude, that's off the fucking
Actually, who's
dome,
the dude?
baby.
Who's the guy?
We do have a monster bitter match.
I'm a professional.
I do this shit.
Zach's got me. Zach's got me right there. I wouldn't see a movie just because he was in it. That's all I'm trying to say.
True. No, true.
I got you, man.
I always get confused. Who's the dude that's in Batman Begins?
I get excited when I see him in a cast. They're like, okay, all right, James McAvoy.
Yeah. Like I saw in this.
His American accent was fucking me up, man. I'm just gonna tell you that, dude. He sounded like Benedict Cumberbatch trying to do it, man. That was like
they all sound the same trying to do it. If they're not doing a Southern accent, I'm sure Rick from Walking Dead would sound just like them trying to do an American accent without the Southern drawl.
It's like Alan Rickman playing like a German trying to do an American accent.
You could do it.
Die Hard.
Yeah, voice inception.
What's funny is I'm defending him. I didn't like him.
Loose again, man. It's the Pennywise chaos.
No, yeah, I feel that. I he's a good actor, but did he save this? Was he the biggest draw of this movie? No, for the second.
I think he took up too much screen time because he's the biggest name.
They could have cast anybody in that role.
I think that's why it was so long, is a lot of these bigger actors wanted a certain amount of screen time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like those three are so big, and then the other three are like nobodies. Like Mike was he's a big character still in chapter 2, but he was a huge character in the miniseries as well. Right. But he was a bigger actor, that guy.
I thought he was terrible in this. I thought Mike was fucking awful.
Yeah,
Mike the dude that stayed behind.
Kind of wooden.
Chapter 1 or chapter 2?
That's why I feel like the three other ones are the wicked. Like, but I love
Bill Hader's a relaxed dude though. He's not a big
incredible. He was in Sinister, Deputy so and so.
He was the most spot on for me.
Eddie's incredible. The guy who plays Eddie as an adult is like spot the fuck on it as well.
That dude that plays Mike, then that's the old Spice guy, man.
I'm not the craziest.
Anybody notice that? That's the Old Spice guy. Then the dude that
really
behind,
no way.
No, that's not Mike. That's Steven, isn't it? Steve.
Oh,
what's Mike?
Talking about Mike.
That dies in the
Old
tub.
Spice guy.
The guy that dies in the tub looks
that's
damn like too. He was in
he does.
Shameless.
Yeah, the guy that played is Mike.
He played Goku in the fucking. No, wait, no, that's someone else.
That's Justin Chatwin.
If Mike is,
you are right.
Shameless too.
Robbie, you're right.
Yeah.
He's from Old Spice to Mike, the old Mike.
That's the dude.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Which guy?
The black dude.
Mike.
I heard that before.
The Old Spice guy.
That just blew my fucking.
Yeah, wow.
Dude,
I
don't watch
know
Jeremy
if he's
Johns.
been in anything
Go
since.
watch Jeremy Johns, because I looked up the cast to see who it was, and his name is like something Mustafa or something.
Yeah.
Isaiah Mustafa.
Yeah, that's cool. And then today, right before we went on air, I was watching the Jeremy Johns review of this, and he looked up the cast, and then he goes, wait, he's the Old Spice guy? And it like,
yo.
I could tell by just the acting chops on the guy that he was probably the Old Spice guy. In fact, I think Disney should be ringing his phone number for the Black Panther coming up.
He had more of a stutter than.
You might want to put him in that.
Yes, Fable, right, dude.
He seemed like he was reading from a script. Well, what if we don't get him? What do we do?
He's talking like a child the whole time too. He's like,
like
he
reminded me of
kid. It's like you're not. He must have been like watching the kid from the first one. But
way too much.
I need to act like him.
But I think the idea is that he stayed there, so he stayed in that mindset. He stayed in that fearful mindset. He's obsessed with it, right? Like, and I kind of get that.
I had a problem with Chastain's
positive about this movie for me is it really
Chastain.
It really
I had a problem because as a young girl, she was real confident, real badass. She was smoking cigarettes and all that, and then her older self seemed real scared, timid.
Well, it's because her life went to shit.
Just different.
She was getting beat.
Well, so the idea that we
right,
can repeat the
mistakes
of our parents, right? But I was going to say the one major positive for me on this movie is it really made me want some Chinese food, bro. Like, real.
The Chinese scene was
until it turns into a fucking eye monster.
Right.
That was the best scene in the movie.
You want some fortune cookies, Robbie?
Right.
Not those ones.
When he said Stanley couldn't cut it.
All right, Dylan, let's hand it back off to the man whose name is on the show.
You're good, bro. what was it? But yeah, I know I saw this in theaters. Let's see. I think the guy who plays Ben is okay as well. I love the guy who plays adult Eddie. Mike is just okay as well. I think James McAvoy is pretty good. I think he does very good at trying to mimic what the kid did. And in a way, like he's not really kind of taking it himself. He's more mimicking what the young actor did. You know what I mean? So in a way, I kind of wish that he would have went and did his own thing a little bit. But I know he was trying to stay in that route. But there's a way you can do that where it just doesn't feel like mimicking him. You know,
Bill Hader and Richie did it that way. You know, they didn't feel mimicky. They felt like an extension, extension of that kid.
Same with Eddie.
Yep.
Eddie was perfect. Compared him to the young one.
Eddie and Richie are the two best.
I think put the fucking aging ray on this motherfucker, like, or some shit. Like, it's literally right? Grown up. It's wild to me. And Stanley too. I was like, holy shit, too bad Stanley's about to fucking slice his wrists open, because like this dude looks exactly like the
he does too. Even like
the fucking features, the hair,
everything looks so spot on.
They fucking nailed it on this one, man.
They really did.
Mike looks just like young Mike. Just I mean, like it's uncanny. It's uncanny,
like him too.
Fucking uncanny.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even
if I don't like say Mike is the greatest actor in this, everybody looks spot the fuck on. Everybody is great in that aspect.
You watch the last Fast and Furious, man. The guy that plays young Vin Diesel.
Ben has his eyes of younger Ben.
Even him looking skinny and buff or whatever looked like
so bad.
The face
when he was little,
they just got some like bald guy and just like
Did you guys think Pennywise, like Bill Skarsgård, it didn't seem like he was like as into the character in this one?
I feel like
it was more CGI
in this movie.
Because it's too much CGI in the second half with him.
Right. Even his line deliveries, they were more nuanced and like quirky.
I feel like
and weird.
He was trying to be different with it and be like
makeup
more playful.
Cheaper.
He had one good scene.
He didn't look as
one good scene that threw back to that first one is the one where he gets the chick underneath the bleachers, right?
Yeah. The bleachers, that's the best scene in the whole movie.
Man.
Yep.
Scary. Sad too. Sad and scary.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the threat like he had been feeding on this town, even though they have a couple instances of him getting kids, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. We'll get into it when we start.
I love the opening. Here, I'll tell you where I really feel it, and it's a huge thing in the book. The opening with the
two boyfriends,
the two boyfriends, and then them getting beat the shit out of by these insane psycho dairy bullies.
That little kid that walked up to him. What the fuck is romantic? He looks so easily.
I'd be like, bro, go get that shit checked out.
Any movie where there has to be an inbred hick, they got that guy's name on the.
Do not pass him the doobie.
Hey,
we are not sex positive in dairy. Do not go to dairy if you live alternative lifestyle. Please.
David Gordon Green could have watched this fucking first scene again before he made Halloween Ends, because that's how you do bullies, man. They're marching band nerds. Like, Jesus Christ, come on.
Speaking of Halloween Ends, I just watched that last night, and what the shit, bro? Like, we'll get into that later.
That's another show. Yeah.
Man, I thought I couldn't get worse than Kills, because I didn't really care for Kills, and
it's better than Kills.
Oh, fuck off. Kills is the best.
No, it's better than Kills. Kills
anyway.
At least
we're about it.
Yeah, we're getting out with that.
Dylan, you saw this in the theater. Did you like it?
Oh yeah. I loved it. The only thing is, I thought the ending was stupid about them just going clown.
Yeah, that was dumb.
And this is the biggest thing. I always never liked the ending of this. I've always thought that the movie was really good. It was just that ending, just how they defeat him. I was watching it today, man. I was watching it today.
Joke in this one.
Yeah.
But I was watching it today, man, and something clicked. Especially, I think when they say like about the tribe people and how that if you make it, the shape has to, entitled to the form that it is, Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then just when they were doing it, I was like, okay, I actually kind of understand what they're doing with this. And I get like what they're going for and everything, and just trying to make him feel like weak, little, just like how they felt as kids, scared and weak and dying. He's like, no, I'm the eater of words, and they're like, no, you're just a fucking clown, like, dude, it's really good, man. I think that is so good. Like, it worked so much better than it ever did. I don't know why it clicked this time. I've seen this movie a shit ton of times too in the last 3, years. Like, I've watched this movie quite a few times, and every time I've always thought, but this time something clicked, and I really was like, I fuck with this ending, and I get it. Because the ending with the spider thing, that was always going to be the hardest fucking thing to do, because it's so terribly done in the miniseries.
Yeah.
Just really like that whole ending part was just always so bad in the miniseries. But I think they do pretty damn good with this. And I don't know, man, it blew me away how everything clicked. And I really did enjoy the ending. And I think because it's just so hard for them to figure a way to beat him. I love like how Eddie's like, it was a little goofy at first. For some reason, I thought he said it better. But just, like, if you believe it does kill demons or whatever, and he throws it and it hurts him, it still sucks seeing him die, man. You know what I mean?
You're gonna ask yourself. I mean, what else could have they done? I think they picked the best option they had to kill.
It's the same thing Nancy does to kill Freddy. And
I mean, it has to happen. It has to happen.
For some reason in my head, and it's been a while, but for some reason in my head, I thought that Richie dies in the original miniseries. He doesn't. He makes it through. Harry Anderson makes it.
It's always Eddie.
It's always Eddie. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
what I was saying earlier. Like,
because the inhaler boy.
There's something sadder about a meeker Eddie dying in the 1990 version than this guy. That's kind of like an asshole dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't impact me as hard. Even though I like the character, he's not a likable guy. He's just a fun character.
He's the sad one because he finally finds his courage out of all of them. He finds the courage, right?
That's right. Exactly.
They've all displayed the ability to overcome fear in all of these movies, except for Eddie still, right? And by the way, the lady that plays his wife is the lady that plays his mom.
That's his mom. Yeah, that's his mom. She with like all blonde hair.
Wow. Hey, if you got a knife where he got the knife in the side of the face, I want to recovered from that.
Right.
He pulled that thing right out and went to town with it. So.
His reaction to that is great. He just like kind of freezes and like, I don't know. I
can't feel too good, I would think.
No.
It's like, why did you do that?
Right. And they play it for laughs. They do that a handful of times in this movie where it could be an intense thing and they do comedy instead. Like The Doors. Scary, not scary, all that. That's like a flat out comedy bit in the middle of the horror scene. They did that in the first one, but they didn't go full on comedy in the way that they did
in this. You know what I mean?
And he's funny as shit throughout the whole thing too.
Hell yeah. And him and Eddie are so funny back and forth. Let's see. The one thing with Richie having a secret, I always thought that was a little goofy.
Is that in the book? I was curious. Is that
I
from
don't think so.
Which one?
No, I don't
remember.
That
Richie's kind of in love with Eddie.
No,
I don't. I remember nothing like that.
In the book?
That was a weird bit, bro.
No. It's just weird in the book, man. They all bang Beverly.
Yeah. And they're all.
It came out the closet years later.
I know plenty of gay men that had sex with women.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I know plenty of gay men that had sex with Beverly.
Actually, they were down a tunnel. What else could he do?
He couldn't get out.
That's what you do.
Couldn't get out.
I think
they got that moment of clarity.
Though is one of the weakest casts.
Drop your pants.
Who is adult actors?
Who was that?
The guy who plays the bully.
Yes, he was.
He's one of the weakest casts as like an adult.
Well, they don't do anything.
Really. They threw it away. Nothing to do too.
Yeah, they threw it away.
It sucked because he was such a big key in the miniseries.
How many lines did he have? I think he only had the line where it's like my knife, or he said the dude's name when the zombie brought him the knife from underneath the bed, and
other stupid laughing.
Yeah, he should have had more of a better.
Or when his zombie friend came to pick him up.
Yeah, and he's like,
from the escape.
Fred?
I'm like, oh my
Let's
god.
ride, Fred.
They could have just cut the whole thing with him. I think.
Yeah,
they probably could have. Yeah. But I feel like everyone wanted to know what happened to him because they don't show you what happened.
He fucking died, man. I
even
had was like,
this movie is incredibly self-indulgent, man.
In the original,
yes, the second,
it assumes that you give a shit of all the blanks when they tie it up so well in the first movie. We don't care what happens to these kids afterwards. After Pennywise dies. That's it. They kicked his ass in the first one.
Right.
This one, they're like yelling at him and shit.
No, but man, like I said, man, you gotta think, man, about like what they said about how the shit, like what shape it takes. It has to abide by those rules.
That, but I didn't even want to know that
Pennywise
like, you're
just the clown with the heart. You know, they call him just
he didn't really necessarily come from outer space. He actually comes from another dimension.
Yeah.
So that's technically inner space.
Get into that.
And I really like that he keeps calling him children and shit. And then like once
that's where the black
electrodes smashing it, he's like, "Look at how you've grown," or whatever. You know, there's some good shit in that, man. I think it. You know.
So when you first watched it, Dylan, was there an initial disappointment when you first watched it?
Just with like I thought that was so fucking stupid about like clown. But I really liked it this time.
Bro.
And, like I understand why you guys are gonna say it's
to make it small.
But for some reason, bro, it all clicked, bro, and it like I just had like it opened my mind, bro, and I fucked with the ending, and I think I just got what Andy Muschietti is trying to do with it. But I understand what you guys are gonna say, like that shit is stupid and sounds so corny, because it is. But I think.
What about the suicide letter? That kind of got to me just because it's like you didn't have the courage to stand up to.
No, that's he had the courage to kill himself because he knew he couldn't.
Is that from the book?
I don't know. It takes someone strong to, that's not an easy thing to kill yourself.
He kills himself.
His fear is what drives Pennywise.
I know that he kills himself in the book, but like the whole like thing, like I did this so that you could win. Like I think
can't remember.
Yeah, that's what got to me.
But
it was like
I think they could have cut that.
They were trying to undercut like the fact that he was not a
so
hero.
Scared, right?
Yeah, but I don't know.
He did it for a noble reason, so you couldn't stay alive for your family.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I completely understand why he did what he did. He's like, I'm not going back to fucking jail.
Fuck that. The clown's back. Oh no.
I love that. Speaking of that,
I'm kicking until I'm down.
Head lady.
The moment where they're all having fun at the Chinese restaurant, and then they start to remember, like, there's something we're forgetting. As soon as they remember, like, oh, that fucking clown.
Yeah,
like, that's
all
a
of us
great
would have
moment.
been out. Every one of us here would have been
like, they're like, where the fuck
I'm like, Steph, let's get the hell out of here.
And then they probably said, hey,
fuck this
we
town.
did an orgy, man.
Why did we come back?
Why did we come here? Oh my god.
So funny.
Fable.
Was this your first time watching?
Yes, sir.
What'd you think of it, bro?
Well, I watched this back to back with the first one. So
nice. That's probably the best way to watch it, I'd say, too.
Yeah, and you can the drop in quality is apparent right off the top. Like, when he bites him in the boyfriend, he bites him in the neck or something, takes a chunk out of him. I was like, okay, we're gonna continue this. And then it just gets into too much of the characters. You don't see Pennywise enough. It becomes campy, CGI heavy, looks super fake compared to the first one, which is crazy. You guys tell me they spent more money on this one than the first one.
We went to the actors though.
Yeah,
well, they also were a lot more CGI heavy in this too, with the spider.
Super CGI heavy.
If you go on IMDb and you look at the IMDb listing and go to the special effects animators, it's like 8 pages long. So that's where the money was spent.
Yeah. It takes a lot of. It tries to do a lot of the things the first one did with the scary bits, using creatures and monsters and stuff like that. You gonna say something?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, it falls off for me a lot. It's entertaining. But much like the miniseries, I didn't like the second half of the miniseries either. It fell off for me there too. So I'm starting to believe that it's not just the movie, it's the second half of this book or whatever the source material is. I don't really like it because it's self-indulgent. It assumes you care what happens to these guys afterwards, Steph said it earlier. It's self-contained. The first one, chapter 1, I mean, the message is there. Nothing to fear but fear itself, right? That's the message of the movie. And then we don't need to go further than that. So, and then not to say that we can't. If you make it interesting, we can. We absolutely can. But it just isn't interesting, you know, for me. And like Vernal said too, Pennywise in this one, he's less scary. He's less. His makeup looks more worse to me. It just falls apart from me. But I was entertained. I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. We've seen a lot worse than Chapter 2. But held up against the first one, just immediately watching them, there's no comparison here. This is a whole nother movie. I can't believe it's directed by the same guy. He lost a lot of the tone, a lot of the bits.
He made a cameo in this one.
I know.
He was he was in the pharmacy when I think it was Richie.
Sold the bike. He sold Bill the bike.
Oh, Stephen King. I thought you were talking about the director.
No. The director was. He was in the pharmacy when
he was in the corner.
He went to go pick up medicine. He
He
was like checking shit out. Yeah.
By the way, 35 million
King,
for
like, the hell? You know?
35 mil for the first movie, 80 mil budget for the second one.
Wow.
And speaking on that, how much did James McAvoy get paid compared to the child actors and all the adult actors? Now you can't tell me that not a lot of that budget didn't go to the actors.
Got bills to pay, brother.
They don't.
But I'm just saying that they said that I'm sure a lot of the money went to special effects, but a good portion went to those actors securing those big names.
I don't think they.
James McAvoy was in a lot of rom-coms.
The Bill Denbrough is a character majorly inspired by Stephen King, and you see how they make fun of endings. They're like, your endings suck. That's the thing. Stephen King is terrible at endings. They've always said that, and that's him kind of like poking fun at that. But that's all I was gonna say.
And then he kind of does the trope.
He's a writer and everything.
It's a trope that I haven't seen before. I don't know why I didn't pick up on it, but he does a lot of Native American stuff. There's tons of Native American stuff in a lot of his things.
Totally.
Right? I just noticed it watching this, and I'm like, oh man, we went there like
Native American
burial grounds and stuff.
Yeah,
up here it's all about that. So.
There's also there's an African American character that is just there to help the white characters and doesn't have anything for himself. That's a huge trope in Stephen King thing, and that's what they turned Mike into in this series. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever looked up that theory, the magical. I won't even say it. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's a trope throughout cinema that is interesting.
Token black guy.
About. Well, I mean, I'll just say it because if you Google it, it'll say it's called the Magical Negro. So just Google Magical Negro, and there's all sorts of stuff on it. It's something that's shoved in cinema all over the place.
Where in the story, there's that typical idea of like everybody has a Merlin to help them, you know, and like I get what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like a wise sage, somebody that's rooted in the old ways, not quite civilized, maybe, but still ancient in wisdom and shit like that. Like,
right. He does it in The Green Mile. He does it in The Shining.
I think that's
Shawshank Redemption.
All over the place.
Morgan Freeman.
I think it's one of the reasons why in Us, Jordan Peele does that whole like ancient tribal, like that they go into, you know, the fun house is like this like Native American vision quest. And they like paint this new age thing over it or some shit. It's still Merlin's quest. It's an whatever. That's
There's something to be said about leaving things to your imagination, and I don't necessarily need to know where Pennywise comes from.
I agree.
You know, and that's probably my problem with this second half. Besides the goofy kind of dumb, there was some dumb stuff going on in this movie.
Well, they don't say
dumb decisions, dumb character moments, like you said, bits within parts that are supposed to be scary, where they did funny parts in the first one, but it melded way better.
Right.
It came off way easier. You can laugh with it and not feel like it's still not scary. You still felt scared, you know? So yeah, man. It's entertaining, but nowhere near the first.
Oh yeah. And I'll just say, if any of y'all want to talk about the music or cinematography, we'll at the end just do what it's trying to say. But if y'all want to talk about that, just throw it in with what, because it's just going to take a lot longer for us to keep going around and around, especially because we all butt into each other. So we're all just saying shit. So I'm just saying, because I know Robbie likes to speak on it, so I'm just letting you know if you want to say something, just get it in there so we don't forget it. Is there anything else you want to throw on there, Fabe?
Nah, man.
It's
just too long. A little too long too.
A little too long.
Bit shorter. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some boring bits in it.
I've been waiting, man, for like a double like set too for this, man. They haven't really done like a proper one. I don't think they might have just, but because I feel like that's interesting. You got to see it for the first time back to back, where everyone else mostly probably a lot of people would have waited, a couple years.
That would have wore me out, Fable. I have my hats off. Right. It wore me out doing it over 2 nights. I'll tell you that.
Well, when I saw the first one, I was fully ready to go into the second one, right? Because you see that first one, you're like, "Holy shit! I can't wait to see part 2. How are they gonna top this? This is creepy as hell."
Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie just needed more than anything else, just an editor to go in and really cut around about a half an hour worth of extra stuff. I mean, I think we saw a lot of the stuff in part 1. They redo it in part 2. With we're getting flashbacks of how the adults are now faring, and then flashbacks of what the kids were doing, and then there's just too many flashbacks. There's too much CGI jump scares all strong. They could have cut about a half an hour of it, and I think that would have been all this movie needed. I think everything else, acting wise, story wise, except for they wasted that bad character, the villain character. I thought they made it a little bit tighter. I still think I would have liked as much as the first one, but I would have liked this one better. I think it's hurt by too many jump scares, too long of a runtime, and not enough some of the flashbacks being trimmed. So, but I liked it. I mean, overall, just not as much as the first movie.
Hell yeah. Steph, what did you think, my brother?
This was actually the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic happened.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Word. Wow.
I remember liking this a lot more on my first viewing. It's everything is strong, just like in the first film, but it's self-indulgent. Fable said that earlier, and I feel that like it's 3 hours, and I don't know. It's just the pacing was not matching up compared to the first one. They, like I said, the first one, there's an air of mystery to it. Like, are people in on this shit? Like, does the town know? Second one, they try to start solidifying answers, but still never get into that shit. Like, you got the Jessica Chastain went to go visit the old lady. It was in actual, or maybe it was just Pennywise, but it's like, who the fuck is occupying that apartment? Like he just mimicking people from day to day.
Well, that's also her father's apartment. She's supposed to be going there to see him, I believe.
Well, she goes there to see him.
That he's dead.
Pennywise because it's a dilapidated building. Like nobody's there.
Well, she also went there to retrieve the postcard in the thing there.
Oh yeah, because they all got to find their fucking magical treasure. Oh
my
god!
But it's like, so is he pulling the wool over her eyes? Does only she see it?
I think that's the problem this movie makes is it makes them forget everything.
And you don't have to go to bed.
Forget everything.
Exactly. He just picks and chooses.
So now they have to spend part 2 learning of all the stuff we saw happen in part 1, and they spend all that time with them going back and trying to figure out what happened because they would have it in their memory. They could have left that out, I think, making them forget and then remember eventually.
Yeah. I felt because of the names they had in this movie that no matter what anyone says, like, big actors require a certain amount of screen time if they're going to be in a movie, and that movie was obvious with this, and that hurt it a little bit. It was entertaining, but not as strong as the first. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What about you, Verno?
Great shots though. Beautifully shot. Besides the CGI.
Yeah.
On the subject, Steph's on. Like, I think one thing that hurts the movie and adds to the overindulgence to it, if I said that kind of right, is that they try to mix the kids in with it, which we want because we like the kids more than the adults, but it balloons the runtime and it slows the movie down. And then plus the CG they do on the kids, specifically Ben, is a little distracting and shit.
Fucking Richie. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad, man.
That throws me off. And honestly, like I said, like, I like James McAvoy. I agree he's probably not an A-lister, but he's a pretty fucking big name. I know his name, and I don't know anybody's name.
B+, something.
B+. But I don't like him as Bill. Like I didn't like him in this movie. He's too ripped. He just came off Split. His stutter fucking sucks when you compare it to the old guy. And there's so many moments in this, and partially it might be because I was a kid and I love that shit. But when adult Bill in the original, first of all, his stutter is great. Like I love the 1990 dude.
Original Bill.
That's the dude from the Seventh Heaven or some shit, right? Yeah, or the Waltons. The Waltons. It's the dude from the
Richard
Waltons.
Thomas, John Boy.
Yeah.
When he gets his bike again and he's hi ho Silver and him and like they have Mike with them and they're putting the bicycle in the 1990. Like that's a moment and like that's heartfelt and like I feel the way about this movie that Stephen King feels about The Shining. It looks beautiful. They hit all the right moments, but it's like it's hollow and it's empty. Like there's not the emotional impact that there could have been for such what is really an emotional story. Like the story is still great, but it's just it's too much. But I
see Eli Roth's History of Horror because that's exactly what Stephen King tells Roth about The Shining.
Yeah, it's the same thing he tells everybody when it gets brought up. But I will say this though: when the movie came out, I went to the theater. I didn't hate it, but I have all the obvious problems. I watched it like a month and a half ago I kept on being like, fuck, do I want to sit through one just to watch two again? Because I've seen one like 7 times and I just watched two on its own. And I think it's going to be, for me at least, one of those movies. I'll compare it to Attack of the Clones. Sometimes I watch it and I see all the flaws. And sometimes I watch it and I just see all the good shit. Because I watched it a month or maybe a couple months ago. And I really enjoyed it. I was just like in the mood for a long ass movie. And I sat there and I pretty much enjoyed the whole thing. Yesterday, when I'm watching it with a more critical eye, well, first of all, like I said, I had to watch it in 3 chunks because I couldn't carve out 3 hours to do it. That hurt the experience. But watching it with a critical eye, you just see all the flaws, and it starts to feel like just scenes. They're checking boxes and they're stacking scenes on top of scenes. Like we got to do this, we got to do that, and there's not this like connective flow to it. But I got some other shit written down here, just things that bug me. I guess I already said most of it. It bugs me that the losers have to become bullies at the end. Like we were saying with the ending is rough. That's a weird thing. It's like they're bully the whole time. Now they've got to be mean and bully Pennywise. It's like, okay.
Think of that.
The whole Beverly, when her hair gets on fire, that looks so fucking bad. To me, that's the worst CG in the whole thing.
It is. That's the worst one.
Little Georgie.
The whole...
It
got the demon version look better in the first one than the second one.
Right.
Some She-Hulk shit, man.
Back to that, like taking things out of the book and forcing them into the movie. Like I can't even remember how they use it anymore, but the whole he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Like that's like a big ass thing in the book that Bill has to say to get over his stutter. And he says it once in the first one. They just drop it in there. You would never think of it unless you know it. And then in this one, it's like it's some climactic moment where he's repeating that and saying that. It's just like this is falling flat for readers and people that didn't read the book.
For me, it did too. Yeah.
It's like even you're a big Harry Potter fan and you're like, "Fuck you, man! Dobby was way more important than that, man."
Right.
Did any of them have kids? Did they ever expand?
No, that's part of it. That's part of like the curse. They're kind of all cursed when they leave. They're cursed with success, but like a hollow success.
Right.
Like they're all like, here's another thing. They never mentioned once in the first movie that Bill's a writer. And then he's just a writer in the second one. He's famous. But he was the storyteller originally. That was a thing. So I don't know. And I'll just say it again. I don't like McAvoy in this fucking movie at all. To me, it throws me off and they spend too much time with him. And too much time with them all apart. And like you said, Robbie, it's stupid when the ritual of chud, where they all have to leave each other, and it's I don't know, it's like okay, now we're gonna do this for a while. But as I say that, there's a lot of cool moments throughout this jam-packed movie. I think we can all agree on that. It has its moments for sure, that it looks great and the cinematography is fire. The music is the same exact story. It's the same music pretty much. Like, I don't know if you guys agree on that. It's like the same.
I
there's a
disagree
mix.
on that,
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the music is they try to do this Spielbergian thing and Tim Burton-esque thing. I guess more of a Danny Elfman something. Like, I don't know. The music
I agree.
Has to be a little bit more like late 90s Disney Channel.
I wrote down Batman. That it reminds me of Batman music.
And it's what I was saying about the first one, how it goes sometimes it gets too generic.
Mm-hmm.
This one is just generic the whole time to me.
Yeah.
Man. Like it's either Psycho or it's fucking Hallmark, like, and it just kind of bothers me. The music really bothered me in this one, man.
That's specific. Like anytime they show the deadlights, it's the same thing when they do that, like that bassy stuff. Like it's the same in the first one as it is this. Well, to me, they're really maybe it's used differently, but to me, it's the music sounds about the same.
There's a lot of the same themes, obviously, but it's just it's more. Not trying to. With Scarpad, you already. What else you got to add, Scarpad? Because you kind of gave us your overall thought.
I figured we were just skipping Scarpad. He already went. He's just like, fuck it.
Okay. Then I'll just go ahead and say that. Like, my problem with this movie is that everything that worked in the first one, they take it and they just beat you the fuck over the head with it over and over and over. Like, oh, you like this movie? Well, here's more of this. Here's and it feels fucking phony to me, man. It falls flat. Right. I love the cast. I think everybody in the cast, even James McAvoy, B, C, D, A list, whatever the fuck he is. I think everybody is phenomenal in this one. Bill Hader being my favorite, right?
Oh yeah.
But there's just so much missing. Like they had more money, they had more expectations. The first movie was a huge success, right? Yep. So in this one, there's more of this, more of that, which gave us less of everything. It gave us less character development. Because we had to go back and relearn who these fucking characters are. Bruh, we know who these fucking characters are, man. Cut out, I'm sorry, I hate to say this, I love those kids too. Cut out all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think maybe like a handful of little things. But the entire second act be them questing to find these personal objects that are just the most obvious fucking things that we know. The less obvious thing was the token, right? Like, I went and got a real fucking token. Whatever.
You know what it's gonna take to burn?
Yeah, exactly. I like that was fun. That's a rock.
The rock.
Not burn at all. So the other thing is the comedy. The comedy is good. Right. The comedy detracts from everything else. It detracts from the
first one too.
But it detracts from the drama. It detracts from the scares.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Bill Skarsgård in this fucking movie? I mean, it ain't Halloween Ends level, but like. And I know that the presence of Pennywise is there, but you don't get those iconic moments, those iconic scenes, except for those few that we recommended or that we talked about earlier. I loved the first one, and I think doing this show, we have to do both. But I will say, this is the dud of HorrorFest 2022 for me.
Ooh.
I fucking hated this movie. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was god damn.
Remember we did Life Force, right?
This movie is so long.
Watch out.
Hey now.
This movie is so fucking long. And it doesn't have to be. You can cut 45 minutes out of this fucking movie. Easily. Yeah. But they don't. Easily. Fable said overindulgent, and everybody, that's exactly what it is. It's just the fact that they had a success. Let's give them more. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes more is more. When you talk about a Stuart Gordon film, that's not what this is. Pennywise is just not as threatening of a presence. The idea that they have to fucking halt everything back to all this, like Fable, you watch this back to back. I fucking cannot believe that, man. Because you just had to watch a badass movie and then watch 2 hours of it. Remember that movie. Like, and it's just, it stunts it. It stagnates it. It's got the most fucked up pace. I've seen plenty of 3 hour movies that I fucking love. Seven Samurai doesn't feel like 3 hours. The Godfather films are 2.5. Gladiators,
Titanic.
Shawshank.
Titanic is Green Mile.
Fuck out of here.
I know, Steph.
Titanic.
Titanic. Come on, bro.
Billy Zane's in there at least. But anyway, this movie is less than 3 hours, but it feels like it's fucking 5. It was so long, so boring at times. But I love some of the performances are so good and earnest. But god damn it, the way they cut this together, Scarpat said it best. Somebody needs to get in there and cut some shit out of this movie. Tighten this motherfucker up. Get back to the idea. We need to know more about who they are now and less about who they were then, because we get that.
We already knew who they were.
Filling in the bits.
Adults change.
We just watched over 2 hours of that. We get it. Right. We need to see who they are now. We never do that. And it fucks up the whole theme for me about the fears and the traumas of our past leak into our adult. It's true, and they're on there, but it's so just it's such goddamn bullshit. I fucking wasted. I felt like, I'm glad I watched it. But oh my god! And here's the thing, though. Inherently, I remember I don't like the second half of the miniseries that much. It's like this part of the story is not as enticing.
For sure. This is better than the second half of the 1990 version. I'll just say, in my opinion.
I have to rewatch, but at least we got John
Ritter. The spider here was better than the spider.
Definitely.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The other thing is
the dude. Did he leave us like when the suicide note? I'm stuck on that. In the original, was he like, was it for a noble cause, or is it because he was scared?
I'll look it up.
As you look that up, I will say this. In the first one, I said that they leaned a little bit too heavy at times on CG. That's all this one fucking is. And that bothers me so much. It's so fake looking. And it's good CG, right? But like, and sometimes you want to see horror in the daylight. Like one of the best things, I think Joe Corallo said this, one of the best things about the first Halloween film is that Michael Myers is in broad fucking daylight for the first third of that movie.
Right.
And it's scary. And then we get to the nighttime. And this one, they don't do that well. Like Pennywise out there, like on the fucking lumberjack or whatever, all that shit.
That was so stupid
stupid shit, man.
Yeah,
it's just
stupid.
It's dumb. And it's just like, we got the budget now, so let's do it. In the first one, it felt like they were like, well, we want to go this far, but because of restriction. Here's the thing. I will say this until the day I die. Horror and movies in general do more with less.
Yeah, they're forced to improvise.
Yeah, and when a movie gets more, it always halts it down. As much as I love Phantasm 2, it ain't nothing like Phantasm 1, which they did with like gum wrappers in a cave.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, seriously,
yeah,
dude.
exactly. So this was a very disappointing movie for me because of the potential that we had at the end of the first one. I love the first one. I hated this one.
In the book, Stan's suicide is just that. He just kills himself because he immediately remembers everything. Instead of like having to like be coaxed back into the full memory, he kills himself because of that. There's no salvation. And I'll say because of there's certain wokeness qualities of it, I think they're afraid to make the Jewish character the weak. You know what I mean? They don't want to fuck with that. Yeah. That's probably, I mean, understandably, that might play into it. Speaking of, I did love the bit, I will say, in the whatever Jewish people go to, what the fuck is that called? Their church, where he's giving his speech.
Synagogue.
And,
there you go.
Yeah, and he goes to walk out, and Richie starts clapping to his mom, hits him down. That's funny as shit. But I digress.
Yeah.
So you guys want to get into what it's trying to say then, and then get into the rating? Or we might as well just do them both together, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's Fabes, you want to start it off, my brother?
Fabes.
We didn't
like it too.
About,
I noticed that.
Fabes.
We didn't talk about the first one theme. And like I guess everybody would probably say the same thing. It's like nothing to fear but fear itself. And I think this one tries to continue that, but then it throws a whole bunch of other themes into it too. Like, Vern, you alluded to the wokeness. Yes, I noticed some of that too. The only theme I can extract from this one is like, no matter how big you get, no matter how great in strides in life you make, you'll always be a loser.
Amen.
Well, that's uplifting.
The good thing about being a loser, though, is you have nothing to lose.
Hey yo!
But when you're losers together,
exactly.
But it's a metaphysical. It's a metaphysical losing because every one of those adult characters, more or less, they were all.
No, but I mean
great.
Metaphorically, like they're named the losers, and they put that through the whole movie. Like we're the losers, and the kid's like, oh, I don't care, I'm a loser, I'll always be a loser. The church scene you were just talking about, I always rather be a loser. So I'm just saying, just a joke,
No, I wouldn't.
Scarpad, you're that's right. A part of it, man, because like,
like
Vern said, they're kind of cursed,
right,
with this like empty success.
They're doing great, but they're not happy. But I don't think the movie didn't do enough to show us that. Like it just showed them doing great.
Brief glimpses.
Just gave us what, like 2.5 minutes of each character,
right,
before they got to Derry. Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a cut out there where people did just cut out all the bullshit and you can just.
Well, they should have just did the same thing they did in the first movie where they just told the story of the young kids to, as Robbie and everybody said, should have just been the adults. We've already seen them, and establish who they are now, and then go forward and don't do any of the kid stuff. We've seen it all already.
Establish it better.
Maybe do something at the end, but then that's it.
And why not have Pennywise reach out to them where they're at, where they have the need to go back to Derry to kill the shit because it's reaching them where they're at.
Fucking with them,
years, like the guy, he's successful, right? He's a rich guy. Imagine he has a dream where he's fat again.
Have his
memories come back,
his torments be particularly crafted to where they are now.
Right.
You don't feel like they were individually tormented by Pennywise.
Right.
Like it's just, I don't know, man. Like that's so much well crafted in the first one.
Plus, it's just never as scary when adults are being threatened. That was my biggest problem watching Halloween Kills. It's like it's all these adults, not
group
only
of able-bodied adults.
Yeah.
Come on,
it's scarier when he's after kids.
Right.
He was always after the babysitters.
Right.
Not the kids, but the kids are just kids.
Well, they're teenagers and they're
I guess so.
They're young girls.
What they didn't learn in the second one was that Pennywise is extremely scary when he's in those tight corridors, underground, in the sewers. That's scary as shit. The moment you put him, you CGI him all up as a spider, and
a fucking giant wooden robot or whatever statue.
That was so
it's not as scary.
It's so stupid. It's so fucking.
When he kids though in this movie, and it's fucking.
It was an action movie, and that's what.
There's nothing scarier than when you shot him down the sewer with all the kids around him and stuff. That's scary.
The gray water.
That's when he eats the girl with the birthmark on her face. That's scary. And then when he eats the kid in front of Bill, that's scary.
Good callback to the first one.
All right. Well, we're in the ratings, y'all, so we all have plenty of opportunity to hate.
I got to give a rating, right?
Yeah.
I didn't give a rating. Oh, okay. So my rating would be 2.5 slips. I thought it was middle of the road, mid, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's entertaining. I wasn't like, I was bored by it, and I thought it could be a lot shorter, but it wasn't like, it was like, you know what I mean? It wasn't that terrible. But when you watch the first one, I mean, how can you? This is not even on the level in any way, in any kind of way. So I'm kind of shocked this is from the same guy, to be honest with you. It's really like
studio interference.
Well, surely the Flash will iron all this out, right? He hasn't had a problematic production on that one in any kind of way.
Not at all. Steph, my man, what do you think the movie's trying to say? What's your rating?
I think it's about both of them are kind of about breaking generational curses. You know, you see people that he'd been there for hundreds of years, maybe Pennywise fucking with people, and some people just kind of gave into it. But these group of kids, for whatever reason, like, no, we don't have to go along with this. Let's stop this shit. And you know that kind of has to do with in reality. Like sometimes you have to be the catalyst. You know, even though it wasn't fair to you, or you know, you didn't get the same thing, you have to be the one to make the change. And they were the ones to make the change. So I think it was about breaking generational curses. And for this rating. I will give it a 3.5. I don't think it wasn't terrible, but like we said, if everything was there, it was well shot, casting was great, but it was just overindulgent in certain bits. And if they were to trim that back, they'd have a way better film. Just edit it better. So I'll give it a 3.5. It was entertaining, but there was problems.
Well
said. I got you.
All the way around.
I got you.
I agree.
Thank you.
No doubt. Well said, Steph. Burn, my man, what do you think the movie's trying to say, and what's your rating?
I'll start with the rating, and this is a struggle. I don't hate it as much as my man Robbie, but I have my issues with it. I'll give it a 3.5 with my man Steph, and it might not even deserve that, but I love it. I love this story so much that I'm glad the movie exists. Like I will watch this many times throughout my life until they give me a better version of it.
Because I think Attack of the Clones, that was a good comparison. Like, there's problems, but there's stuff to enjoy there.
There's moments.
At least Attack of the Clones ain't 3 hours long, though.
It's pretty fucking long. But yeah, for sure. Like just a couple things that I did like about it before that opening scene, or just one thing. Like the opening scene, that whole bit with the bigots and all that, with the balloons come floating down onto the river or that creek there, that's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I just
hell yeah, that's why I was saying that opening is awesome.
I think we're getting more of the same, and then it tricks you.
Right. There's great visuals throughout the whole thing. There's too much CG, but there's some good CG mixed in there. But Anyway, what it's saying, it's pretty much, it's right there on the surface. It's like Steph said, there's generational curse, or it's the sins of your father. Two Gun said, I think this is what he's talking about. Pew to the pew, by the way. Break the cycle. Like breaking the cycle. You look at all of the adults in Derry in the first one and how they're all just not doing anything to help it out. And now these adults are coming in to try and break the cycle and make up for the sins of the
Linkin Park song was about it, right? Breaking the habit, right?
Again, and I'll just say, like, I heard someone say a while back that, like, oh, Wes Craven must have read it and then went and made his own version of it. And I was like, wow, that's not really fair to Freddy. But then preparing myself for the finale of Horror Fest on Robbie's channel, I'm watching all these Freddy movies. Now I'm watching these It movies. It's like, these fuckers are really, really goddamn similar. It's the same thing. They both feed off fear. If you quit believing in Freddy, he goes away.
Nightmare on Elm Street was first, man. By 2 years.
Oh, that's... Wait, no.
Did the book come out first, though?
That's what was playing in town was Nightmare 5.
It was published in 1986.
Maybe he had the idea churning for years.
I beg.
And he shared it with
but Nightmare plays with the Sandman mythology, not.
And Nightmare on Elm Street's 84, but like,
Oh shit. Okay, well maybe it's.
Sorry,
maybe
man. I'm not trying to be that dick.
No, you're right. No, you're totally right. You know what's funny? I swear to God, I looked this up a couple days ago, and maybe I was drunk. But yeah, I guess you're right. Either way, they're similar. Whoever came first.
Days ago, and I was drunk, and
but 3.5, and it probably doesn't deserve that, but I love it anyway.
Cool.
Somehow,
I respect that.
Yeah, is it me? Is it me? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Also, I thought definitely I gave the other one a 5 because I think it's a better blend, and a better story, and a better production. I would say this deserves a 3.5 just because it turns into Hollywood wanting to make a sequel to a high budget movie and just plugging in what they thought needed to be in it. Right. There's too much excesses, with too many jump scares, too many CGI set pieces, too many flashbacks. And they cut out 45 minutes, would have been better, but it's still a 3.5, I think, just on the strength of the acting and the kids and the characters. So 3.5 for me.
What do you think it's about?
I think what you guys all touched on, it's just an evil coming back after a certain period of time, and the people breaking the cycle of the grasp they have on it. Until this time, I think the kids were the only ones that, because they were misfits, that would be challenging that cycle. So some turn a blind eye to it, others weren't as affected, and apparently people in town have seen this and they just did nothing about it. So, no, I think the story is a strong point in both, but the production of this one's nowhere near close.
Word. All right. Robbie, what do you think the theme is, and what are you gonna give the rating, my brother?
The theme of it is about how your childhood lingers through your life, your entire life. And you were talking about the echo thing, right? And I was talking about that touched me on the theme. The things that we deal with as children, whether it's bullying, whether it's abuse from our parents, whether it's feeling like a loser, whether it's finding friendship, finding love, finding hope, finding optimism. These things reverberate. It's cyclical. You say break the cycle, and it's true. We got to break those negative cycles, but we got to reinforce the positive cycles, right? Because you can say that it's very obvious the trauma that you experience as a kid and the fear that produces carries on throughout your life. And that's generational, like you were saying, Steph. Like it goes back to our parents and our grandparents and our great parents. Like we're all repeating the same shit, right? Because we're imprinted with this at an early age. We can break those negatives, but we got to embrace those positives. Because even though they had this modicum of success, this hollow success as adults, what were they missing? Each other.
Mm-hmm.
So when you try to bury the negative shit in your past, you still have to learn to embrace the positive. And in fact, the only way to embrace the positive is to embrace the negative. You got to accept it all. You can't ignore the friendships we had and cultivated when we were kids, the relationships, the crushes, the loves, even of loves like pop culture. You don't think that I believe I'm haunted by the ghosts of my past? Look around me. I'm surrounded by my past. But I surround myself with what I love about my past. And it reminds me of my friendships. It reminds me of those connections. And I'm proud to say that I know a lot of people, they don't hang out with the same people they hung out 20, 25 years ago. I still fucking do. Like, I got a core group. We love each other. We support each other. We're the Losers Club. We call ourselves the Excitable PCP crew. And y'all are all a part of it. And that's what we fucking do. So you got to understand that the negative things will always be with you, but so's the positive. Embrace both of them, the shadow and the light. That's how we will overcome whatever it may be in our life. You know
nice tie-in.
Nice.
That being said, this movie's a 2, you digs. I want to give it 2.5, but I know that I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch chapter 1. I want to give it 2.5, Pam. I'm going to tell you why. It slips a little bit for me because I know that I'm going to rewatch chapter 1 over and over throughout my life. And I know that occasionally, at least 25% of the time, watching that movie is going to make me watch this one fucking again and waste another 3 hours of my fucking life with a letdown. Great performances, solid cinematography, too excessive, too overly self-indulgent. 2 you digs, man. 2 you digs.
Whoa.
Or a 2.069 slips, whatever you want to call it. It's 2. It's a 2. It averages out to 2.
You Pennywise that bitch.
Yeah.
It lines up. It's like the one backlog.
What did you say it was?
This movie's like a turd. This movie's like a turd. It floats. So 2.
They all float.
2 or 2.5? Would you say 2?
2. 2.0.
Alrighty.
What'd you do, Dylan? I forget. Did you go?
You were snoozing about 10 minutes ago. Don't.
But
I went on for a while, man. But I mean, we all got to embrace the negative.
I think movie's great. I think it's probably trying to say, you can't escape your past. You know, they made a blood oath, and they gotta live by it. You make choices in life, you gotta live by them. And I think man, fear is a big one. Like you guys said, fear is like all around them in that whole town. Basically you guys all hit it though on the fucking nail as always. I'm gonna give it, back in the day I probably would have given it 4. Today though, 4.60 fucking 9, baby.
Oh,
nice, dude.
I fuck with the movie, man. I told you it all comes together. I mean, I get Pennywise is in it less, but it seems like the same guy directing it. I could see some of the nuances. There's still some of those nuances that are in the first one that I get what Vern says with like the book and everything that can be a little dumb, and they should have went more with the beep beep Richie and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't let it like ruin the movie for me.
Right.
I still fuck with it though. I love it as a double feature. It has to be done. The first one absolutely can be held still on its own without a doubt. Right. I still obviously think the first one is better. It's better than a 5 without a doubt. I love though this series, and there's a reason why he was handed the Flash after both these movies. I mean, I know it was more controversial, but like we said, also this part 2 is just not that goodly written, from the start. So, you know what I mean? Like, really just trying to.
It's not goodly written.
He's like, that spider is like so fucking impossible to do. Well, let's just do it the best we can, man. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
let's be honest. We've seen worse sequels.
Make it look cool
for sure. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
exactly, dude.
Have we? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Us.
A lot of them.
Exorcist
Wonder
2.
Woman 84.
And 3.
You're right. Exorcist.
Oh!
Exorcist 3.
Exorcist 3, the great psychological thriller of the 90s.
Yo.
Jeffrey Dahmer attests to it.
I gave that shit a 5. What's wrong with you?
It'd be funny if like Robbie did like Exorcist 3, greatest psychological thriller of all time.
That was one of the funnest
approved
ones.
That was
I'll tell you what, man. It's like, you know, it just y'all got me going that night, man, and I can't back down off the hill anymore, man.
So that wraps it up. I won't even do a overall rating because you guys really didn't give ratings good enough to match up. So we'll just overall score that.
The overall score is 3.69, Dylan.
Everything's not good.
That's solid.
That's solid. It's okay. It's a good one. It's all right.
It'd be better if it was more goodly, but it's not.
No. Could be more better, I suppose.
The best bit for me though was when the guy was dying. He was like, "Hey," he's like, "What?" He's like, "I fucked your mother." Or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were great, Eddie and Richie.
I think he believed it too. He was like, "Damn it."
I love the dog scene where they found the dog in the hallway and like, damn it, that was cute. That was cute.
Yeah, that was good.
That's the problem.
Like, crazy.
Like I thought that particular scene, like it took away from the scare, but I still didn't hate it.
Right.
I thought
Right.
it was they went too far with the comedy, but it was funny.
Yeah,
It was
also them
misplaced.
like
Still.
redoing them as adults, what happened to them as a kid. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
True.
It's just not going to be as scary no matter what.
Yeah, because they're adults.
The second time, but I get like
Right.
they could have made it scary because with what creature they end up using, I feel like they. You're right, maybe Brian. They made that just a little too.
Dude, something
funny.
worth pointing out. This is the silliest thing, but I just loved it. I was like, dude, that was so fucking well done. When Richie, Bill Hader, when he gets the deadlight shined on him, he's about to throw a rock, and then he just the way he does that.
He got instantly possessed.
Yeah,
he just dropped like it was dope. Hey, you mother!
He's great.
He gave right in. No fight.
Oh man, that's a good one. My bro was like, remember when Eddie's like, cut your fucking mullet, asshole.
Yeah.
And he flips it off as he walks off. Yeah.
It's funny too that Mike has the rock that hit like Bowers in the face. Like, you would never have found that fucking rock.
Right.
And it would have been that bloody.
This is the rock that's brought us all together.
That's just a rock he fucking grabbed and painted.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, this
Slashed it up real quick.
Yeah. That's why the fucking ritual didn't work, Mike. Thanks.
That was so stupid too.
Idiot,
the ritual not working and the blob shit coming out of the vase. I'm like, what is this?
That ritual.
All they gotta do is just call him a clown, man.
Right, exactly.
They're missing the sex pack.
You're a clown, Pennywise. You chose that form.
He did look cool, all melted like that. Like I thought that looked.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? It looked really cool.
It was kind of sad. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Somebody
there
did
was
like
little things in the first one too.
I liked it though. Like when they said he was like his eyes and everything when they're like saying like at first saying it, and he's like, "Oh, what?"
Oh, would have made this better for me. Somebody takes that Pennywise baby, and now we got Ben and Beth raising a Pennywise baby as a sitcom. Let's do that. Okay.
I would have went full Army of Darkness and had all the fucking clown running around, go up people's legs and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, make it full.
I felt that
blown
they were drawing from Army of Darkness a little bit in this.
The second one
kind of threw it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out my fucking leg.
Because the little hands and stuff, the little hands, and you notice that bit, and I'm like, oh, that's something like Army of Darkness shit right there.
It's funny.
You guys,
I can see it being a
show and tell tonight.
Yeah, man. What's the next week?
I got some stuff, man.
Next week is Pumpkinhead, brother.
Ooh. I don't think
I've
I've
been waiting for
ever
this
seen
one.
it, guys.
No.
I don't think I've seen it. No, I don't think
I've
so.
never seen
I haven't
it.
seen this
I've
since
never
I was
seen
You
it.
haven't
kid,
seen it,
bro.
Scarphead? That's crazy.
I haven't seen it in a minute, but I remember being scared as shit of this as a kid. Like this was my first fears.
I
That Lance
fucking love
Hendricks,
Pumpkinhead, man.
I hate to do it again. I fucking love the shit out of you guys. Great pick, Dylan, but I gotta go. I gotta work early, and I got some shit.
Dude,
Oh, brother.
Love you,
Great
brother.
pick. I love
Thanks
you
for
guys.
coming,
You guys
man.
are the
Love you,
best.
friend.
Chat, you guys are the shit, and I'll see you next week. Peace.
See you next week, brother.
Later, Bruno.
But before we get to next week, on Monday, we got Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein, another
Nice.
double feature, y'all.
Finally, old school.
We do old school every year, Scarpad.
Finally.
Finally.
Obviously,
there won't be no Bush in it, but it's obviously no Bush.
He doesn't watch the channel.
Right? Confirmed.
Remember Mummy Monday.
There won't be no 30s Bush in the movie, but I'm still down with that old school.
I think there's a 30s Bush in one of those movies. I think
Could
there's
be.
a Bush.
Her head.
Because that's what's known as pre-code Bush.
But yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I cannot wait. That's going to be fun, man. Can't believe it's wrapping up, man. But then after Pumpkinhead, we're also going to have not one, but 2 shows to wrap up Horror Fest. We got Pumpkinhead's this next Saturday, and then Sunday night at, 8 p.m.?
It's going to be 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Yes.
8 Eastern. You're doing Videodrome.
Gotta have some Cronenberg.
Yeah, David Cronenberg, baby. And then Monday night, you're kicking the finale of Horror Fest off with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
All of them. Ooh. All the way through Freddy versus
on
Jason.
Halloween night, baby. On Halloween
I gotta get started on that.
I will be trick-or-treating in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, man, more like last week.
Yeah, I'm already a few movies in. I only got 3 more to watch.
Dude, those are easy to binge.
I like to chase little kids out. So.
Do what I did.
Well, at least they're not 3 hours, man.
The first one I watched was the remake. I got that shit out of the way, and I plowed through. Last night I watched. Aside from the remake, last night I watched my least favorite fucking movie in the whole franchise, Dream Child. So now I'm good to go because I really do love New Nightmare and Freddy's Dead. So we're good. It's a great Horror Fest.
Freddy's underrated.
Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein Monday, and then Saturday Pumpkinhead, and then Sunday Videodrome, and then Monday the finale on Halloween night. The entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, y'all. We've done Hellraiser, we've done Friday the 13th, we've done Halloween. We gotta give some love to our dude Wes Craven, who we've been giving love to this entire Horror Fest, and my man Robert Englund. Freddy Krueger.
And a lot of people's number one,
Freddy
versus horror guy.
Freddy versus Jason, where does that lie? Does that lie in that series or what?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing Freddy versus Jason.
It lies in both series.
Right, cool.
So there's no confusion. We're doing Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. We're doing Dream Warriors, Dream Master, Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Freddy versus Jason. And yes, we're doing the 2010 fucking remake because I watched it, but you don't have to. But Fable does.
In one night? You're gonna get done in 7 hours or no?
Bro, we did 3 hours on all the Friday 13th movies. We can handle this.
Fable.
Can we go in reverse order though? Can we go in reverse order to number 1?
You can watch them in reverse order, but no, we're not. That way, at the end of the night, when everybody's fucking tired, we can talk about the one we all hate. Well, come on, let's be honest. Nobody likes that one, man. Come on.
No.
Anyway, let's wrap this shit up, man.
Who's got show and tell today? Fable stuff, nothing? Nothing today?
Yeah, send it out.
Scarphead,
I'm stacking my show and tell.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Want me to go first? All right. Real quick. So I came in for toys. I finally got my Ultimate Mummy
Black and white.
Black and white right here.
Nice.
That came in this week. I had the color one, but this was a lot better. I love that thing.
Oh, and Two Gun said Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein is also on Tubi. If anyone
got this one too. Trick or Treat.
That's a fantastic figure.
Never had
it before. That figure is the pumpkin lights up, man. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, it does.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Cool. Both pumpkins are great, but the one that lights up is sick.
Then this came out. This is the Halloween 3 Tiny Toons.
Oh wow!
Season the Witch. Okay.
That's Toonie Terrors, man. Tiny Toons.
Yeah, I was like Tiny Toons.
I never got into Toonie Terrors.
Not ones you'd see in a common thing, but I love these guys. I had to pick this up. Of course, little Bon Scott and Angus Young from Highway to Hell and AC/DC.
Nice.
Ooh. Okay.
Angus is wearing his typical schoolyard Highway to Hell outfit. And then movie-wise, this came in this week. Return of the Living Dead in 4K.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
There it is. With Slip. Hoping this is good. One of Robbie's favorite movies, The Fun House, right here. In
Hell
4K.
the fuck yeah, man. You dig for 4K, man.
They're putting fucking everything out in 4K now, so.
I'm like
this was cheap on Amazon. I got this for like $11.
I just love that Escape from LA and Funhouse are on 4K before True Lies is. That just blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, and that's where it's gonna stay. So 4K Escape from LA, Paramount. This just came in today. I thought this was 4K, but it's just Blu-ray. No Escape with Ray Liotta, and I like these movies where it says the year is 2022, the prison of the future.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
They got to start aiming
put that
for
out.
100 years.
That was put out by MVD. MVD.
Oh, that's MVD.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't see it. They don't have their like regular logo at the.
So that's MVD. Yeah.
You don't
and
need
then I noticed I didn't have the first movie in the Hatchet series, so I picked up Hatchet.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
And I also didn't have the fourth season, so that fifth season I got Victor Crowley also.
That's the fourth one.
Because I had two and three.
I've never seen any of those movies, man.
So now I'm gonna watch all
They're
four of those.
so good.
Dylan, we got to do them, man. We got to do them for
I
Facebook.
Scarpad was asking if we could do them, and I told him we did the Adam Green Spotlight, and he was like, "Oh, so you don't want to do them?" I was like, "Dude, I'll fucking gladly do Hatchet again, no problem."
Better do it before we do.
Vestron announced that they're putting out 2, 3, and 4 of the Silent Night, Deadly Night in a collection. So I had to get the first one. I picked up Silent Night, Deadly Night.
You could probably get the second one with the slip.
And I couldn't. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
It's not so
Same
great.
cover, man.
I love the reverse art on that one, or the original poster art.
Picked this up this week on Amazon, The Slayer from Arrow.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. That's a cool cover.
I think that's 1989 that movie came out. Bozo, what happened?
Hit the fucking button on your keyboard, didn't you?
Pet Cemetery 2. I love that fucking slip.
With the slip.
The slip. I don't know how good the movie is, but the slip is fucking
pretty good. I love
very good.
Too. Nah, dude,
Dylan told me, that fucking Terminator 2 kid fucking rocks in this movie. So.
Bro, dude, you do not trust Dylan. That movie sucks.
That's another Stephen King.
Dude, it does not suck.
Really
he was probably on heroin, so.
That movie blows Dylan.
I picked this up, Mario Bava's Shock, which I've never seen.
Oh, no, I've never seen that. Yeah. That's a dope cover right there. Man.
Hero video.
That's some color theory. Marvel, pay attention to that.
And we'll be doing more Baba on the premiere of Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns, November 7th, Planet of the Vampires. So watch that if you're going to be around. Extreme Prejudice with Nick
I need to pick that one up.
I also love that cover.
You know what's funny?
Yeah, that's
that Silent Night, Deadly Night Vestron pack just went up from 17 to like 23 now. I'm so glad.
And finally,
I got my pre-order locked in then at 17.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, it is. That's why I'm glad I did it.
Finally, a Vestron video. Everybody remembers this one from the 80s. Slaughter High.
Oh, I gotta get that one too.
And
that's a good one,
awesome
dude.
And then
that one's always so expensive, so I haven't gotten it.
I got this for like 17.
Oh, I have to check that out.
Amazon. No, I take it back. I got this for $13.
Really?
Yeah, $13. And that's it for me.
That was good, brother. Nice haul, bro. What you got, Robbie?
Brother. All right. Well, I did buy this It movie that we talked about tonight. That was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then I unfortunately got this It Chapter 2. But, it's worth it to have both of them because the most disappointing thing about these is that the commentary is only on Chapter 2. Like, I would love the Musetti commentary on Part 1. And then I wanted to share my Part 1 that I got.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
That's
that's
with the eyes.
Creepy right
that's
there.
Slip. That's a.
I buy that, but it's us print.
That's a super.
So I got a package from our buddy Scarpad right here today. So I want to show this. I thought he was just sending me one VHS, but in fact he sent me The Matrix on VHS. One of my favorite movies. This has got like a shiny, but I had this VHS.
The foil cover.
That's fire.
But there's the Star Wars. That's the original.
Nice.
Oh, hold on though. It gets better.
What?
Wow.
And then it gets worse.
Uncut.
But there you go.
Green lightsaber.
It doesn't get worse. It gets better.
Well, Return of the Jedi is just a bunch of fucking Muppets. And then randomly in there was this. Look at that Joker, and that's cool because my whole thing is the Joker clapping in the Hellboy song, so that's fucking dope. And that's nice. That wasn't good enough for Scarpad. I had to get the Batman to go along with it.
That's fire.
Nice.
Look at that. So that's dope. And then a Star Trek book I didn't have, and I have hundreds of Star Trek books, but check that. Beyond Uhura from Nichelle Nichols. Nice. That's super dope. I've never read this, so that's super cool, man. So I guess this is about her experience, right? So that's super cool.
Hello, nurse.
Scarpad Station, thank you so much. I actually picked up some cool things this week. One thing that I have been waiting to finish this collection, but I got my Leatherface Savage World.
Oh, cool.
So no, I'm the big Motu guy. And
I was going to say, that's He-Man, right?
Exactly. I got this awesome Motu collection, and then I got the Jason, because on the back I got the Jason, the Pinhead, the Freddy, and the Michael.
Pinhead is cool, man.
The Pinhead,
they're all cool. I have to show them off. Man.
You gotta show them some next video.
I'll have to show them off, but I finally got the Leatherface. I'll open that up tomorrow night on Rockin' Robbie Live. I guess I was a little drunk last week when Dylan was showing off his shit, so I bought this Paranormal Activity box set. Just because I thought that was cool. So that came in. I don't know why, but
you don't like it no more?
No, I mean I'm down.
It was like $55, wasn't it?
A couple. It was like 49 or 48.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's
good with the stream on that.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I got an Amazon credit card. I'm cool with it. They give me cash back on that. Anyway, so the other day, like a few weeks, or maybe a week or two ago, we were talking about censorship and how things can just be taken away from you. And we were talking about one particular show that's not even on HBO Max. And I was like, right then and there, I was like, I got to get it no matter what. So I finally got my Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
On DVD.
Worth it.
But I don't give a shit. I've already watched the first 3 episodes.
Dude.
So I plan on just every night, when I got 30 minutes, I'll throw one of these on.
Better VHS at least.
Did you buy that? You bought that used, right?
Ever since we got we did Demon Night. Yeah, I found this online used on eBay, super cheap. It was like $30.
I told you can get them cheap.
Yeah, so after we did Demon Night, that was the discussion. Now that I think about it, I was like, I gotta get it because we may never see this on Blu-ray. We may never see this streaming, and if we do, it may be in a censored form. But even if it does get re-released, uncensored on Blu-ray or 4K, y'all, you're welcome. Because since I bought this on DVD, if it's gonna happen on Blu-ray, it's gonna happen soon. So that's what I got.
I hope it goes on Blu-ray.
It took me forever to get.
I've been waiting years. My whole life, I've been waiting for it to come on fucking Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's dope, man. So I'm really happy to have that, man.
Yeah, I'm happy you got it, bro. It's so worth it.
Hell yeah, man. It's something we need to have because we had that discussion on Demon Night. Like at any moment, they can pull this shit away from us.
Yeah.
Never.
And that's one that can very easily get pulled.
Well, HBO doesn't own that.
$500 set. This could be a $500 set a year from now or something. And and then everybody's asking us, where do I find movies like Near Dark or True Lives? Well, fucking physical media, y'all. Regardless,
shit, It's Always Sunny.
If my Wi-Fi goes down, man, I don't care because I can fucking watch a Blu-ray.
It does not look good on my 4K TV. It does not look very good, but it comes across, and I really
it works.
And cancel culture these days, It's Always Sunny. If you watch that on any streaming service, there's certain shows or episodes they won't show because they've deemed them too inappropriate nowadays or too offensive.
And that was the whole point.
I've been in this whole anti-censorship thing lately because we were talking about the Tales from
physical media,
and then we were talking about at the shop, with Miracle Man, the omnibus is coming out. Everybody's like, well, I haven't read Miracle Man. I need to get the omnibus. And I'm like, you can get the omnibus and have it all in one volume, but it's recolored, censored, and edited. And I'm not cool with that, man.
That's not the original.
I'm not down for censorship, man, in any kind of way. So this was my one moment. I don't know, man. Maybe I had a whiskey too much or something. But I was like,
you got that for a great price too, man. That was one of your great.
That's
a great investment, man.
It's $85 on Amazon. $85.
if you go on Amazon, it's like $70-$80, but like I found like
you can find it on eBay and Mercari or something.
You can even find before they did these versions. You can even find the original versions at like if you have a used media store local. And by the way, don't expect those to last forever. You know what I'm saying? So like, buy physical media, y'all support
buy physical media, man, for sure.
Big time. Speaking of
for instance,
media,
like I'm sorry, but Joe Bob was talking about on his. I just recently watched his Hellraiser 2 broadcast. He went off about censorship and how they can just pull anything all of a sudden. We were talking about Hatchet. He said in Victor Crowley, the whole show me your dick scene, like the whole sign my dick scene, that's taken out of the Amazon version. And like, that's why like, I'm glad to have the uncut fucking Blu-rays.
Yeah. They do the same thing in video games. Me and Steph talk about that all the time. They take away things in video games. When they re-release them digitally, you could download them. That's cool and everything. But if you have the original disc, the original PS2, the original PS3 games, that's what you want to have, man. That's
play the classic,
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
We got to get some PCP shirts that are like support physical media. That's what we need.
I like that.
Oh yeah, I'm down with that.
So I got a couple things. Started off, Scarp had mentioned his sci-fi show coming. So this was on sale, so I had to pick it up. Kino Roller, Planet of the Vampires, by Mario Bava. Great flip, man.
Yeah,
it was only $15. It was $15, and it's from Kino, so I had.
Yeah, and it's got reverse artwork too, I believe.
Great reverse artwork too. I love that classic poster.
Yeah, it's
a great poster. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out.
That's a really good movie, man.
Yeah,
well, I picked as number one to start off the show.
We did a 60s sci-fi episode of Pop Culture Philophers podcast, and that was on my top 5.
Oh, nice, dude. Because I don't think I've ever seen it, so I'm really excited. And I was a little iffy because I had never seen it, so I was like, "Well, should I buy it just because money's tight?" But I know that's making it a debut on the show. I figure it's got to be purchase worthy for $15.
It was right up there with Robinson Crusoe on Mars for me, man. Like I love
Robinson Crusoe on Mars, great movie.
That's you got to cover that one then.
It's coming.
What was it called?
Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
I also
it's like The Martian, but before The Martian.
With an ape. It's like The Martian with an ape.
Yes, not a robot.
I finally got Stephen King's The Mist on Blu-ray.
Oh, you got the good one too, man.
I've had that on DVD for a freaking while now, and the only way I'll own this is if it comes with the black and white, and thankfully this also has the black and white version.
Yeah, I gotta watch that before Halloween's over with.
That's why I really was excited to get this because it was like $12, and this was out of print for a long time.
Yeah. I think it was Verno said that It Chapter 1 might be his favorite Stephen King adaptation, and I think even Scarpat said the same thing. Dude, the Frank Darabont stuff.
I forget about that one. Yeah, it's not.
What's your favorite adaptation?
It's all three of the Darabont stuff. It's the
Darabont trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also had to get it because it went on sale. The Funhouse 4K.
My man.
God damn it! I love that.
Look at that. Yeah.
Now 4K with the slip with the reversible slip. Now that's a 4K done right.
Even though we did that last year for Horror Fest on PCP Movie Night, I think that's one prime for Dylan's Horror Show. I think we'll have a better time, to be honest.
I think you're right. That definitely. Maybe next Horror Fest.
Jelani and Brooks and Brian just don't fucking get it.
They don't. That's why I was glad they come and
too square. You know what I'm saying? They're too square. They're too over hard sometimes.
Yeah. they're not like deep in the horror like we are.
No.
Had to get this. I can't believe that they actually got this back in print, but it's not surprising.
Nice.
I wish it had some type of reversible slip, but I absolutely love that. I wish I would have been able to get the freaking poster for this too, but great set, man. I can't wait to check out the new 4K scan. Dude, at this point, man, I think because I finally got the Howling for $12. But that's not coming till November. I really I might as well just get the other two 4Ks I don't have. I think it's what is it? Cat People.
The 80s.
I think I know there's 2, but they're not Scream Factor. I think they're the Shout. It's the Bill and Ted, and then I know a Red Dawn. I know I need still, but that's the Shout. And there's another one on 4K I need. I know it's Cat People.
Return of the Living Dead, by the way.
And They Live. They Live
nice.
is one.
Return of the Living Dead also has one of the absolute best rock and roll horror movie soundtracks.
Oh, dude, one of the best, bro.
SSU, TSOL.
Poster nails it too. Linnea Quigley. And last but not least, I got this really freaking cool The Ring VHS slip cover.
I like it.
Encased in a steel book. So
cool.
It's a slip with a steel book, which that's always a freaking really cool thing. They usually don't give you a slip on your steel book. Or if it is it's always a clear slip.
All right.
It was really good. That first Ring movie. All the way to the end.
First one?
The end was like, whatever. But
I'm not trying to be that guy.
First one's great.
The Japanese one is so much better, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, I grew up. I remember just the craze though when these were coming out. And I just honestly, it wasn't.
Have you guys ever seen the Suicide Club?
I love that VH. I'm a sucker for like these VHS slips, and this one goes perfect. I hope they do it for the second one.
I have not seen that stuff, but I've heard about it. I really want to see that.
I never seen it.
Japanese.
I was always disappointed in every American remake of a Japanese horror film.
Yeah,
that's why I was so glad to audition, or Itchy the Killer. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I like that one, Shudder. That one is real underrated to me.
Okay,
Shudder with Joshua Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Dude, I cannot freaking wait to check this one out in 4K too, man.
Yeah, I wonder if you can actually see his junk when he's getting beat off there. He premature ejaculates, and it's so weird. The movies that are on 4K, I'm like, Funhouse.
Yeah, I know. That was one that that's one of their earlier Blu-ray releases.
On 4K?
Is that not a 1080p image upscaled on a 4K, or did they actually 4K scan the film?
That's a 4K.
It depends.
Scan, I think.
Some of them. And which one?
Because I think they just released it on 4K
from the original camera negative.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, because you got to make sure that it says that. If you don't say that, then it's just a Blu-ray release on a 4K disc.
Well, have they done Poltergeist on 4K?
Yes. Yeah, it looks great. It looks gorgeous.
Poltergeist before they did Funhouse. I'm just trying to say, if they want to make money with 4Ks.
No, actually, they came out about the same.
I think now, without a doubt,
Poltergeist might have come out 2 weeks before the Funhouse. 4K.
Without a doubt, the pandemic saved 4K because before the pandemic, it was dead. They weren't releasing shit on 4K, nor did they want to. Now to see the stuff they're releasing that I never thought they were released, it's in the mainstream now.
But always remember this: more movies exist on VHS than on DVD, and more movies exist on DVD than Blu-ray, and more movies will exist on Blu-ray than 4K. So never take for granted that your movie's going to be upgraded.
There's actually lost movies. There's actually movies that had come out that are non-existent today. They just don't have them. They don't have the original film, nothing. Just memories or stories written about them. There's actually movies that exist like that.
Well, the interesting thing is, I don't know how many of you guys really are big TV on DVD guys. But I have, besides what I have back here for movies, I got about 4 shelves of television on DVD from the 50s, 60s. 70s, 80s, and so forth. And the sad thing now is, while that stuff looks okay on DVD, it's all been rescanned. Because when you watch the shit on regular TV now, it's all in high def, but you're probably not going to get a high def release of that. So we're getting to the point where a lot of your stuff on TV is going to start to look better on TV than on what you can own. That's the worst part of it. Because at least you can get 4K on movies. You're screwed when it comes to TV shows.
Yeah, like that Tales from the Crypt. It's going to be
Tales from the Crypt. I mean, if you look at, I'm a big Western fan. If you look at any of those Gunsmokes and stuff on TV, they're unbelievable, and all we got is DVD. So that's gonna be a problem with going forward.
Some movies they had to find a VHS copy and scan off of the tape on the VHS copy. They did that with Transformers the movie for years because there was a fire that destroyed some of the negative on Transformers the movie. So they actually hunted down copies from other countries and stitched those together. And then
the interesting thing is too, though, you can go on if you look and look at Region 2 for the Blu-ray, a lot of the stuff that will never show here. Well, like Tales, I wouldn't doubt maybe Tales of the Crypt is on Blu-ray on Region 2 because they seem to release a lot more stuff over there than they do here. At least on Blu-ray.
I just want to address Zach real quick in the chat before we wrap up here. Until that we can technically or through technology represent and accurately represent the best biological fucking camera in existence, the fucking human eye, or even the eyes of so many animals. The eye is one of the most crazy things, and what we can perceive with good vision is still not even like 4K doesn't even represent what shit looks like in real life.
Well, they film itself is the highest resolution, like the film itself, like the capture on a film.
Well, yeah, if you get
more high resolution,
just the fact that it's digitized degrades it just a little bit, right?
Right, but they're taking these things like 35 and 70 millimeter films and taking the negatives and they're shrinking it down to 4K. They're not even approaching
exactly.
what
That's
the
what I'm
original
trying to say. The film itself is the highest resolution.
It's going to be the highest resolution possible. Yeah. Exactly.
And even then, like the most pristine version of that film, right?
And let me tell you, it doesn't matter because I have an old 4K version I watched this week of Halloween before it came out on Shout Factory. I had like this Lionsgate version. It's night and day. So it all depends on how much they spend and they redo. I mean, how much they spend on redoing these movies, getting them to look good. To get, even if it's on 4K, it's a bad transfer. It's gonna mean nothing.
And also,
you could transfer, but you got to clean the film too. There's a process
but also
of cleaning the
you got to watch it on the right setting. A lot of people don't know how to adjust their settings on their television sets, right? And like, since I got the 4K TV, I've dived into filmmaker mode. That is 100% where I watch my fucking movies now. So like, the new TVs that we get with the new resolution, sometimes they're showing things that aren't meant to be shown in film. Right. And so like, that's why filmmaker mode is important. If you have access to it, I recommend that you play around with it.
And even before you get into the definition of it, all that HDR, whether it's Dolby Vision, HDR, regular HDR, you watch, I didn't think it made too much of a difference. It does with really good colors, but you watch something like from the 30s, like Frankenstein or Dracula, and the black is so perfect now because of HDR and Dolby Vision that it doesn't look murky. It looks like it's there.
But we've also all been to that person's house that's never turned off the motion enhancing shit.
I hate that shit.
Like,
oh my god, the 120.
Well, the Dolby Vision does set a lot of that.
Terrible.
You're just like, can I see your remote? I just want to change some settings on your TV.
Like you're watching, it'll make any movie look like a soap opera instantly.
Yeah, it looks because it looks like it's in your face.
Right.
So,
what a great show, Dylan.
Yeah, we're talking about TVs, man.
Great conversation.
Definitely, man. Is there anything you guys want to throw out there before we wrap it up?
I just want to point out tomorrow night, Rock and Robbie Live, 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm not getting wasted like I did last week. We're not doing that, but we're gonna have fun. And I on the wrap up this morning, I said we were gonna talk about Black Adam or The Thing. We're actually gonna talk about Pearl. I finally got to see Pearl.
Yeah, I gotta watch that one.
I'm excited for that. So there's that, and then Horror Fest. We already talked about all that, but I just want to point out real quick some announcements, exclusives here. November 3rd, 1 p.m. Central Time, we get Alex Packendale coming to PCP again.
Nice.
Talk about his new book, All Against All. And then 2 days later, on November 5th, we got John Lee's coming back, as well as Joel Mulvey to talk about their new book. So we got some really cool creator conversations coming up on PCP. So get ready for that.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. And Scarpet, when does the sci-fi show launch again? November 7th?
November 7th, which will be a week right after the Horror Fest ends. And it will be on Monday nights starting at, I think we said 7:30, 7:45. And if you can't watch it then, watch it on replay. We're going to start the whole month off strong with some very classic sci-fi films, including Planet of the Vampires, Last Starfighter, Forbidden Planet, and I believe The Thing's in there. So it's going to be, This Island Earth. So it's going to be a very good mix of sci-fi films from the current to the past. I hope some of these same guys, Dylan, I know is committed to come, and I think Verno City may want to be there. So there'll be people from you might know or don't know. So tune in. And then tomorrow I'm going to go see Pierce Brosnan and see if he can do my best character, my favorite character, Dr. Fate.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dr. Fate. See how he pulls that off. Going to go see Black Adam tomorrow. See how that is.
Speaking of creator interviews, one more thing. Monday night on my show with The Experience with Dynamic Forces, we got Ken Hazer is going to be there in studio with them. So we're going to have a conversation with Ken Hazer as well as having all these cool Ken Hazer collectibles. So he's a really cool. He's the artist of the current Fright Night American Mythology book, and he does a bunch of those covers that we do on the Experience. So it's gonna be cool to have him there to chat with. He did all those TMNT homages, if y'all remember that.
Yeah,
crazy about, man. So yeah, check that out.
Steph, Craig, you guys got anything you guys want to throw out there before we dip out?
No,
not Blame Fable. Fable's got you covered Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Going over the hot cover picks. That's coming up on Thursday. And then Saturday, we've got Blame Fable and his amazing friends debuting Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. You guys not doing anything. And that's about it, man. We're gonna continue that cycle week to week. Fable's got you covered Thursdays and Blame Fable's on Saturday.
Hell yeah. And we got us a big week coming up. Don't miss out Saturday. Finale of Dylan's Horror Fest.
Went by quick.
Yeah, man, went by crazy quick. We're going to be reviewing Pumpkinhead. Then, like Robbie said, Sunday, Videodrome. But this upcoming Monday, Robbie will be doing Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Sorry, I don't have the video.
No, I keep forgetting about the Monday, my bad. But yeah, and then he'll be finishing off Halloween night with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, man. It's going to be one you will not want to miss.
Yeah, Fable and Verno will be there, as well as Hammer Time Holeshoe and Jelani and Brooks.
Ooh,
it's going to be a fun, long show.
I got to start today. I think I got to start tomorrow. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, bro, you thought it was rough watching two
let's end this so I could start already. Thank you everyone for hanging out tonight, man. We love you guys. We cannot wait to keep coming at y'all. We will be back next Saturday as always. Horror Fest never ends, y'all. Peace out. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. We love y'all, man. See ya.
Station.